it Ubisoft leaked it themselves? He's talking about Smash GT. They don't have the choice. This is dumb. If you leak something, suffer the consequences. Well, no, I don't really see... I don't think so. A notice and strike is different. Okay, so you want to make the argument that a takedown is okay, but a strike isn't? I think that's fair. Sure. I can take that argument.
You could have issued...
But I think that they should be able to take it down if they want.
...a request to take down the footage, but instead you issued a copyright strike, which puts the YouTube channel at risk of termination. You did not need to take an action of aggression. You chose to take an action of aggression for a reason that I'm certain makes sense to your young and inexperienced staff members. So here is my advice to you as professionals. You do not have any goodwill between anyone right now.
No, that's
not
true.
Your
That's
consumers or customers. You do not have any goodwill to spend. You cannot afford to perform actions of aggression like this. By copyright striking these YouTube channels, you are actively damaging your brand first. It is bad enough.
I think they could just send... No, you're right. Like, they could just send a takedown notice, and that's it. I do think that you shouldn't be able to publish content that gets leaked, though. It's their intellectual property. That's the way the rules are. I think leaks are generally a bad thing. That's my opinion.
That 3 of your top executives are currently on trial for sexual and psychological harassment. Are you aware that you are launching a new video game soon? It is already bad enough that if people support and buy Assassin's Creed Shadows, they are supporting a company that celebrates psychological harassment and sexual assault. I personally do not know how to stop people from telling others online that they should buy Assassin's Creed Shadows if they support sexual harassment and abusing women in the workplace.
Oh, because of the lawsuit.
No,
yeah, I remember that.
Stop people from telling the truth.
Yeah.
Gamers.
Oh my God, what? Yeah. No, well, that's so Ubisoft. The details about their lawsuit recently came out, and about a lot of the sexual harassment and like bad behavior that happened at the office. People might not remember this because it wasn't as popular when it happened. But Ubisoft went through the same thing that Blizzard did with sexual harassment.
Are not stupid the way that you think they are. They won't support a racist company that humiliates and harasses women, then uses the shield of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion as a distraction to hide from the fact that you are not only intellectually incapable of running a AAA game studio, but your management at the highest level are terrible people. My contemporaries and fellow professionals in the games industry are not in positions where they can speak up, so I will say what they want to say but are unable to. Please listen very closely. Ubisoft, we do not need you in the games industry. We do not need a company.
I feel like that's definitely true. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Of sexual harassment,
yeah, for sure.
DEI to hide your misconduct and incompetence. My genuine advice to you is you cannot afford to take actions of aggression, such as copyright striking YouTube channels. Listen to what people are saying, accept that you are the absolute worst in the games industry right now, and find competent professionals to work for you instead of whatever children you have right now. Your current marketing approach for Assassin's Creed Shadows is to post painful, childish memes and lash out with insults on social media.
Are they doing that?
No, he's not.
My professional advice to you
as
a consultant pro bono is to find an adult to run your marketing campaign, because a child is not the right person to run that for a AAA company.
I think that what they're doing is they're leaning into like that, like kind of like, I don't know really how to say it, but it's like that kind of vitriolic, childish, like kind of mindset that a lot of the people that like support woke stuff have. And so they're thinking, well, if we can't get people to like us by being normal, maybe if we act weird, we can get the other weird people to like us.
Cultivate positivity with your target
Check
audience.
the X account. Yeah,
actually, another follower gave me
messed
a
up
last
and made missteps
It's
and turned
more of a
lemon into
damage
lemonade.
It's not crit. It's all
Any
damage.
actual professional with
really
real-world experience can do this for
It's
you.
like going way.
Filling your staff with children and sexual harassers is
Yeah,
not
yeah, I'm missing
working
the-
out for
what's
you
that?
right now. That is all the
ring
advice
thing
I have
that
for
goes a
you
big circle. I forget
today.
what it's called.
Thank you for listening.
One of those.
And
and
Ubisoft,
one of them
please do
here.
not attempt to contact me on a
Putting
professional level to
everything
organize
way down
a
over here.
consulting
Just
contract.
like way down over
I
in
do
this
not
area,
align
somewhere
myself
like
with
this
sexual
area.
assaulters
Hey, they can contact me.
or companies that are about to go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's
It's like
fine.
all kind of
mismanagement
attribute
and
based, I think.
incompetence.
You went over
Good
it
one.
last
Thank you for
night and I
listening.
didn't. I was
Bon
like half
chance.
asleep
Mes petits choux.
trying to figure it out.
Was that French
you.
or something? Well, that's pretty funny. I didn't even know that this happened. I had no idea. So it looks like Ubisoft is being weird about like issuing DMCA's. I had no idea this was happening. So Ubisoft doing that, it's very weird that it's made up language. Yeah, it's very, very weird that they're doing the DMCA's.
You knew focus
Like, I
on
think
that.
that sending a takedown notice, because like you can do that. Like you can send a takedown notice without sending a copyright strike.
That guy.
And so like,
Not paying attention.
in a way, like I have two mindsets for this. And here's my first mindset is that you should never use a copyright strike because I think it's like a nuclear option, right? That's number one. But number two, it's that people that are uploading the content knowing that it's leaked content and leaked footage, I think they're doing it with the knowledge and with the awareness that what they're doing is against the intention of the developer. And it was something that was obtained through an accident and it was not officially distributed. So like these people, I think in a lot of cases are acting in bad faith. And so that's why I initially do want to defend Ubisoft for a little bit. But I think that you could just issue a takedown and that would really be it. You don't need to do a copyright strike. So yeah, I mean like for basically, I think they should be able to take it down, but using a copyright strike is unnecessary. Yeah, they were bad actors, so they were treated as bad actors. Yeah, I do think that if you're publishing leaked footage, you generally are a bad actor. And let's see here. When you kidnap 1,000 kids, you unlock the gold. Okay. Let's see here, Juice. What the fuck? What the hell is this?
Can anyone's put this much juice in a car before?
I don't think this works.
No, mate, I got told to put juice in it. With juice.
With actual juice.
From the shops.
Orange juice.
No, it wasn't orange.
Like apple
This is
juice.
V8.
No, it wasn't apple. It was like tropical.
Okay, right.
My mechanic
Right.
lied to me is what you're saying.
I got told by someone to fill up
Fucking
with
media.
juice. I think petrol juice.
Well, if I told you get me a glass of juice, would you come back with a glass of petrol?
That's the glass of juice. If I was told to fill my car up with juice, I fill it up with petrol. They even say it in movies.
Why don't they call it V8 juice? You know what I'm saying?
Google it, bro. What's your movie? What do you Americans say? Go to your car with juice.
I did fill it up with juice, man. That's what I'm saying.
Is this what they do in Australia? I'm assuming this is Australia, right? Or like New Zealand or some shit?
And in your life, if you ever filled up a car with
They do this all the time. Yeah, wow.
before today,
Well, I've never had to do it before. My mechanic normally puts it in.
put petrol in your car.
Yes.
How long have you been driving?
So it is my fault?
Wow.
60-40% his. Do you have a bucket or something so we can save it?
200, 200, 200, 300,
No,
2400.
there was no petrol in it. That's why the car.
Fucking shitting me?
Well, that's why the car didn't start. 'Cause there's no petrol in
2400.
it.
Oh, jeez.
Smell that.
Divided.
That's juice.
Smell it.
I just tasted it.
Oh,
Smell it.
jeez.
You
60.
want me to light it on fire for you?
Wow. Yep, there it is. Oh my God. Well, it's not a surprise, right? It's definitely not. And to be fair, it's a V8 juice for V8s. Oh, it might have been a V6 engine. Oh, right, because it's V8 juice and this is a V6 engine. Yeah, that's probably the reason why it didn't work. That's a good point. Yeah, true. Gen C starts getting elected to public office in Germany. Oh no. They're doing it again. No. No. No, this is not what I think it's going to be, is it?
What will you do?
build it.
Oh,
Still
God.
it was brick for brick.
Jesus Christ. I don't know why. I think this is happening. It is. I told you guys Adolf was making a comeback. I did. And every day I only get more right. That's it. I don't, yeah, rebuild. I know. I don't know what the hell is going on. And yeah, it's the second coming. I guess so. They're about to go all in. I don't really know why it's happening. Yeah, the wall, at least surely. Well, I don't know if they're going to build a wall. What is this here? I already watched this. Watched it a minute ago. Let's see if I can go through the rest of these too, because I did miss a few of these. Yeah, I'll probably watch this at some point. I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing today, but we will watch this. I'll set it aside, at least for now. How can people justify firebombing Teslas and not considering it terrorism? It's simple. They agree with it. That's the reason. It's that simple. Like, they think it's good because it's for their side. Yeah, actually, it's vandalism. Yeah, exactly, right? And they're trying to, it's absolute terrorist activity. Yeah, they believe that anyone with different politics to them is an existential threat to humanity, so literally anything is justified in that context. This is only the beginning. It's only going to keep getting worse. I think that it will not keep getting worse. I think that it will get worse to an extent, and then somebody will take it over the line, and then the entire public sentiment will shift. And in the same way that you have a lot of Democrats that are like trying to like now like roach out with trans issues, I think the exact same thing is going to happen with this too. And so somebody is going to like firebomb a car. They're going to do something that's going to damage a, what do you call it? It's going to like damage something really big, right? Luigi didn't take it over the line. No, not really, because Luigi is like one instance of a person doing this, and I think also Luigi did it to a person that a lot of people don't have a tremendous amount of sympathy for. Most people hate insurance companies. Most people hate CEOs. So guess what? Most people hate insurance company CEOs. So Luigi killed somebody that almost everybody hates, and so it makes sense that people... And also Luigi, as I said, I agreed with Luigi about everything except for killing the guy. Right? Everything else he said, I thought he was a pretty smart guy. I liked him. It's just that the whole shooting stuff, allegedly, yes, of course, allegedly. It was an allegedly oh man, bro, if they live stream that court case, that is going to be amazing. Why would people hate insurance companies? Because the insurance companies, in a lot of cases, most people's interactions with them is the insurance company not paying things that the person thinks that they should be paying for. That's effectively the reason why. And so, yeah, it's predatory as fuck. I'm not a fan of insurance personally, right, in a general sense. But anyway, this is exactly it. The reason why these people do it is that they think that they can do it, but eventually somebody will do a Luigi activity to somebody who is just simply an average, everyday person. And I think a really good parallel to this is the Trump supporter that got shot at that rally when Trump almost got shot. And the people that were like supporting the shooter or like saying the guy deserved to get killed, like these people got totally fucking annihilated. Everybody hated them. And I think all it did was galvanize people more to be pro-Trump, right? It's literally a firefighter with a family. Destiny? Well, Destiny did himself no favors by saying and doing that. He didn't. And I think it was actively destructive to his reputation by saying that. And it's like basically, does this move you closer or farther away from your goal? Well, I think it obviously moves you very farther away. And so that's really it. Destiny doesn't believe 90% of the shit he says. Well, he's still saying it, though. It doesn't really matter whether he believes it or not. If he's saying it, people are going to take that, and they're going to say, this is an extreme person, I don't agree with this, I don't like it, and then they're not going to like you, they're not going to agree with you on other things either, because you're behaving in a way that's alienating, right? That's about it. And so, like, that's really the big problem that a lot of people have, is that they kind of, they can't stop getting in their own way. And I think this is a problem that a lot of political commentators have, is that there are certain issues and certain things that they fixate on that a lot of people are just very much against. And I think the reason why you have certain commentators and people that fixate on these issues is that they get captured by their What is this here? No F, are we back? Yeah, there we go. Feels bad for Destiny's kid. Well, I don't know about his kid. I have no idea. And so anyway, yeah, I'm being DDoS for political reasons, obviously. Like stepping on your own dick. Yes, basically, right? And so your audience captured, you're projecting right now. You didn't used to use the politics tag like everybody else. Well, let me explain. Let me ask you something. What do you what do you think that I'm doing? Yeah, and so just because you might not know this, so if I pull up my thing here, it says select content classification, politics and sensitive social issues. So I do have it actually listed as that. And so what were you talking about then? Stop reading like a 5th grader, you don't have to use it? No, I actually went to college? Okay, good. And you don't need to use the politic tag like everybody else.
50?
Wait, so you're saying that I shouldn't use that? Wait, why? Because we talk about sensitive social issues all the time. Yeah, I'm just confused about this. Yeah, so because that's what it's for, right? Like I'm confused. None of this makes sense at all to me. No, it looks like this person's not even responding. So let me get this straight. So you made an accusation for something that isn't true, and then when it's proven to not be true, I say that I'm doing political commentary, which is why I had, and also it's not just political commentary. That's another really important component to this, is that it's not just political commentary, it's commentary in a general sense that is about sensitive social issues, which is what I talk about all the time. Like I do, and so obviously I'm going to have that on my thing. And so now somebody's roaching out. He's not happy. And this is what happens, right? Somebody like this explains themselves, and they don't really have anything else to say, right? And I just don't know why somebody would make something like this up. It was so easy to just explain your point of view, but like apparently it's not working. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. Let me see here. I'll pull up one more person, but then we'll move on real quick.
What?
What is this here? Your political ideology is flawed and misinformed in many ways. What do you think that I are misinformed? You getting into React content for politics, your content's been bad, feels like red pill grifter nonsense. What is this here? This is maybe a WoW player. It looks like, yeah, this is a WoW player. Yeah. Yeah, it's a WoW player. So you're unhappy I'm not playing WoW. Is that it? Yeah. Let me see this.
What the fuck is going on?
So do we have an example of what this is, or what you're unhappy about me saying? Because I feel like I feel like this is, you should have that, right? I mean, there should be some sort of reason. I don't know. I don't understand this. Here, give me 1 second. I use the bathroom, and maybe he'll respond. Okay. I'm sure he's gonna come back. Everything's gonna be fine. back. Sorry about that. We good. Empty chair stream for a couple of minutes. Yeah, something like that. Just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Give me a second. Is there any response at all? Let's see if we have anything. I don't care if you play WoW. I feel like you have a shit. Well, games, Souls games, it's hard to play them. Okay. So. Okay, I don't know. I probably should ban the guy. I'm just not gonna worry about it. Who gives a shit? Regarding politics, it's hard to point to one example, as I'd have to go back and look for them. So, okay, so you don't have an example. Okay, that's fine. I kind of expected that, because that's usually what happens. And by the way, I'm sure there's things that I've been wrong about, but the difference between me and a lot of other people is that I attempt to be right. Everybody makes mistakes, not everybody corrects them. And so that's the difference. Gotta see you open your eyes and evaluate things? Yeah, for sure. Give me 1 second. When you're wrong? Yeah, sure. Which is, I mean, it happens, right? Everybody makes mistakes. Of course it does.
What?
Hard pressed to see you react to things on the other side of the aisle of you. It might not be just good React content, but it's just fair to say various POVs to like what you hear in politics. I don't know. I feel like I've watched a lot of content that's been critical of Trump, especially with the tariffs and the Ukraine stuff. Yeah, personally, I think so. Gollum finds the One Ring. Yeah, this was crazy. Let's see here. See if I can find the rest of these over. NMP is the most humble. Yeah, of course. Let me go back over. I'll watch this. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is really true, but look at this.
And I guess that's why they don't really care about the climate. It was never about lowering the Earth's temperature, because if you really cared that much, you wouldn't burn an electric car, Senator. What about the terror financing angle to hit them with? I mean, if you're giving money to a group that ends up using it to foment violence against people, why can't you go after Soros if he's funding these attacks?
Oh, we absolutely should. We should absolutely follow the money, and it ought to be traced all the way back to its source. And this is why I say, Jesse, the left has gotten by with this for years. This is a great project.
I agree with that, by the way. The people that are supporting these protests that are consistently violent and they destroy property, I think we need to figure out who those people are and then hold them accountable for it. Absolutely.
For the Department of Justice, and they ought to
trying to create a civil war. This is a minority of people. It doesn't have to be a majority of people. I think like 9 out of 10 people think this shit is retarded. Like even like, and here's how I know that's true. Even the comments on Reddit say it's retarded. And if Reddit says this is bad, I don't know what to say.
Look at all of it. Who's funding these attacks? Who's funding the campus protests? Which, by the way, all of these campus protests, they're all organized, they're coordinated, they're funded. We ought to blow the lid off of that as well. Who was funding the protests in front of the justices' homes, which nearly led to justices being assassinated, Supreme Court justices I'm talking about? The left's been funding all of this stuff. They ought to be accountable for all of it. I love the fact that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are all about transparency. Let's get some transparency on this dark money that is literally dangerous for the American people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they need to figure out who's paying these people, if they're being paid at all. I think that it's probably a mix. I think some of them are being paid and some of them are not being paid. And some of them basically just kind of go with the flow and go along with it. And the other ones are being paid in order to agitate it and start the movement, right? And I think that's what happens. I mean, I'm not sure about this, but I'm just guessing. Again, with the Soros conspiracy Andes, holy shit, the U.S. is cooked. You're right, and there's a good chance that George Soros isn't involved and it could be something else. But here's what I think makes a lot of sense. I think that if you think that it's a bad thing that this is happening and people are being paid to do it, then wouldn't you also welcome an investigation into whether it was good or not and who was funding it? So if you're certain that it's not somebody bad funding it, then why would the transparency be problematic? I don't know why. There are so many people nowadays. It's very unsettling, the amount of people that are supporters of just blatant terrorism. of blatant terrorism, the destruction of property, this violent behavior, it's very problematic. And I can guarantee you the outcome for this, the overall outcome for this is going to be very, very bad. That's it, Josh Holley put his fist in the air to support January 6th and ran away when they entered the building. Well, I don't know. I have no idea about that. I mean, yeah, who the fuck knows? This America hating rhetoric under the First Amendment is gonna holding as full as fuck. Well, the thing is that, like, I mean, if you're a naturalized citizen, then you can hate America all you want, right? I mean, like, that's really it. I mean, that was my perspective with that guy that got that's going to get deported, or at least hopefully will get deported, right? Is that, like, we already have enough of these people in the country already. We don't need to import new terrorist sympathizers. We have so many of them already. And so that's what I think. How do you respond to someone who says not all Palestinians are Hamas? How would I respond to a person who says that not all Palestinians are Hamas? Well, it's simple. I'd agree with them. I think that's true. And I think that there are Palestinians that probably are favorable towards Hamas because they have to be. Because Hamas is a militant organization and it's a terrorist organization, and a lot of people are probably scared of telling them no or going against them. I totally agree, and that's why I apologize for what I said about Palestine, is because I do agree that there's a lot of good people that live there, and unfortunately there's a terrorist group that is doing bad things there. And both of these things can be true. And I don't think that there's any sort of accusation or any sort of hate towards average Palestinian people justifying, you know, their mistreatment by Israel or anything like that at all. I don't think there's any justification for it. Like, it's like if you're targeting civilians, then you're a terrorist organization, right? It's that simple. So yeah, nothing's black and white. No, it's not black and white. And I can see why also. The thing is that it's easy to see why somebody would support a group like Hamas. It is, especially if this is a person whose life has been destroyed, their house has been destroyed, and they view that it's by Israel. And maybe it is because of Israel. You know, I'm not sure about every case. I don't know. But I'm saying, like, in a general sense, it doesn't matter really what my opinion is or what the facts are. It matters how they feel about it. And so, like, if you have somebody who has their whole life destroyed by what they believe to be this foreign power, well, then that person is probably going to be easily supportive of a group that's going to destroy that foreign power, even if that group is problematic. That's basically what happens, right? And so, like, I can understand why they do that. And a lot of them, like, and yes, it's the wrong opinion to have. You shouldn't do this. But there are a lot of things that people shouldn't do that are understandable that are done, right? It's understandable. And I think that really the difference is that, like, treating everybody there like they're a supporter of that. Let's say 90% of the people there support Hamas, like, theoretically, right? That means 1 in 10 people don't. That's an extremely high ratio. That is a crazy, crazy high ratio. So, and think about the hundreds of people that are there that would be, like, unfairly, like, hurt because of that. So, and that's even with a 90% approval, and that's a true approval rating, not a compelled approval rating, which I think in probably some cases happens. So, yeah, no, and I think that it's a big problem. I think that the people that are supporters of Palestine actually do a massive disservice to Palestinians by trying to carry water and kind of, like, brush off and, like, oh yeah, it's not really that bad, whenever a terrorist group does something bad. I think it does so much damage to the average people that are there. By supporting them, yeah, I really do. I think it's a huge problem. That's a lie. Watch the street interview before October 7th. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you have to explain, like, what that means. But please understand that if only 50% support Hamas, that makes a two-state solution extremely difficult. I understand that it's a very complex thing, and I'm going to be honest, I don't really have the answers for it. But the point that I'm making is that the one thing that I do have the answer for is that if you are on the side of people that are targeting innocent civilians and killing and raping them, you are the bad guy. You're the bad guy. Go. And I think this goes with people's unequivocal support of the IDF as well. Yeah, but, like, especially Hamas. That's it. Israel's doing that? Yeah, it was a really big problem. I was surprised that more people didn't talk about that. Yeah, if you do bad things, then you're bad. Yeah, imagine that. So yeah, so both sides.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think both sides have done bad things for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. It's not even a question. Anybody would assume that.
Go.
So anyway, the world's gray. Yeah, it is. And so no, Hamas is not Palestinians. Palestinians are not responsible for Hamas. In the same way that I really think it sucks when like an American is held accountable for like the war crimes of America. And I think it's also really shitty when a Palestinian is held accountable for the war crimes or terrorism of Hamas. And I think it sucks when somebody from, you know, like Saudi Arabia gets treated like, oh yeah, you're this terrible person because your government did this. Or somebody from Russia gets treated this way. There's a lot of average people, most average people just want to live their lives without any sort of friction. They don't care about being terrorists. They don't want to kill a bunch of people. They don't care about a massive land conquest. They just want to live their life, care about their family, have a comfortable life, and that's it. That's what I'd say 95% of people want. Now, the 5% that don't, those are the ones that usually cause trouble. But the fact is that that's my actual opinion about it. Yeah, that's my. I don't know if that's true for Palestine. I think it would be very quickly. I think that if you, the moment that the bombs stop dropping, and the moment that people can just rebuild and live their life, I think their primary focus, many of them, is going to be rebuilding their own life. And it's again Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're not going to go and try to blow somebody else up if you don't even have a fucking house. Like they're going to be busy. Like really. It's human nature. Yeah, it's human nature. It's common sense. So yeah, you can't control the whole country on only 5% support. Nazis did it on a pretty low percentage at the beginning, actually. But you're right, 5% is too low. But either way, my point is that I think that even if it's half of them that are supporting it, half of them aren't. And I think that it's unfair to characterize them as bad people because of that. And I feel the same way about Russia. I feel the same way about America. And I feel the same way about a place like Saudi Arabia. Whenever you, and this is it's a fundamental reality, is that when you take a statistic, and if you take a generalization about a group of people, and you take it down and you apply it to an individual person, that is the fundamental definition of dehumanization. So if you're dehumanizing people and saying that now you don't have your own free will, you don't have your own nuances, you don't have your own opinions, what matters is this general apparatus of assumptions, and they're all being applied to you, that's a bad thing. It's and this is true, by the way. This is true when people do it to black people. It's true when they do it to women. It's true when they do it to men. It's true when they do it to Muslims. It's true when they do it to atheists. It's true when they do it to anyone. It's all bad. So yeah, it's that simple. Is calling everyone terrorists dehumanizing? No, but I think calling people who kill innocent civilians as targets terrorists, I don't think that's dehumanizing at all. I think that's accurate. And also, humans can be terrorists. It's not that they aren't people, it's just that they're terrorists. There are people who are terrorists. Is that complicated? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just been... Anyway, the point I was making, right, is that the support of people like that guy, the Colombia guy that you know, again, hopefully is getting deported, and the support of people that are like literal terrorists, I think that it does a tremendous amount of damage towards Palestinians, because what it does is it makes it synonymous in the mind of the average person that these two groups are one and the same. And I think that whenever you see a group of people that are advocating for this other group that are seemingly running defense for literal terrorists, that's going to alienate a lot of people. And I think that's a horrible thing. And I think that the people that are running defense for Hamas, running defense for these other people that are advocating for, you know, like any sort of like ethnic cleansing or like murder or anything like that, these people are actively hurting the cause. And I think that you're starting to see this happen, where like you're seeing that people are tired of hearing that, you know, this terrorist person is actually a good guy. and I'm seeing this all over on the internet, and it's massively problematic. And I hope that the people that believe this, I mean, some of them are on Twitch, right?
Go.
And I hope that the people that promote this stuff, I hope they listen to what I'm saying and they take it seriously. Because if you really want to help them, you have to stop making excuses for their worst bad actors. It's kind of like what I said about how it's bad for people to make excuses about January 6th. Because it's like, this is just like an obvious bad thing, and like, let's just agree this was bad so we can move on and not have to, like, there are some people that think that because something is on their side of the fence, that they have to defend it. No, you don't. You don't have to defend every single bad thing. And so that's the way I see it. And I find it to be disappointing because I do think that these, you know, Hamas and, you know, like these people that are like apologists for it, I think they're doing tremendous damage to the like good faith that people could have in the Palestinians. That's my opinion. I think they're doing terrible damage to it. And I think that you will begin to see this damage become more and more prevalent every single day. They don't even try, mostly peaceful protest. Yeah, and I think that was the same thing. I think that the people that were making excuses for BLM burning down auto zones, I think that they also were doing a terrible disservice. I think that they set relations with police back, because now you have the right wing that just universally backs police no matter what, which is stupid. And then you also have all these people that are radicalized against police, and now they won't comply with police, and now you have a higher degree of alertness that leads to more bad interactions with police officers. So I could go on about this for a long time, but I really think that I think that the people that are doing commentary about this really need to understand that radical viewpoints create equal and opposite radical viewpoints. And when you make excuses for bad behavior, people will also, you know, basically throw the baby out with the bathwater and think that you're bad. And I would look at, yeah, January 6th, October 7th. I don't know, like there's probably a few other examples that I could use. Don't throw out the bathwater, you sell it? Yeah, maybe, right? But that's the way I feel about it. Are you seriously comparing January 6th and October 7th? Yeah, I am comparing them. I'm comparing them like these are two bad events that happened, and I think both events don't deserve any degree of support or defense, and that's the reason why, yeah, I'm comparing them. Yeah, now, if you're too emotionally unstable to handle that comparison because you think it's not fair, then that's fine. But, and I can't wait to read your tweet about it later on. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be tweeting about it and crying about it. But I think that fundamentally what I'm saying is true. What a stupid question. Yes, of course. Yeah, it is. And so, yeah. Comparing doesn't mean equating. Yeah, no, I'm not equating it. Obviously not. Comparing them as events, not comparing what happened within the events like any sane person does. Yeah, of course. But anyway, that's it. Trump supports January 6th and he pardoned him. That's sick. I agree. I think Trump weakened his position and he weakened his like, there's a certain form of what I would say, what's the term that I could use for this? Like ideological purity. I think that when you do something like that, you pollute your ideological purity. And you do that because now it's like you're doing this action not based off of an ideology, but you're doing it based off of these people being on your side, right? Your integrity. Yeah, credibility, something like that. Yeah, you could use a lot of these examples. So yeah, that's the way that I felt about it. That's my opinion about it. I know that every single time that I bring up anything bad that left-wing people do, the immediate response is, what about January 6th? I think that really kind of goes to show about how bad of an idea it was that it happened. Because absolutely, it's really bad that happened, because now it is indefensible, and now it's like this one thing that right-wing people are like, yeah, we did have this really stupid thing happen.
Of course.
And it's like you like basically like you lose a degree of high ground whenever you do something like that. And that's problem. It's a strategic weakness. So yeah, that's the way I feel about it. That's what I think. Anyway, let's see here. Whataboutism classic? Yeah, but there's a degree of truth to it as well. Holy move on. Yeah, sorry, long question, but that's my answer, right?
About when we're talking about the cuts that Doge is bringing about, how are they feeling about
Yeah, this to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw.
Yeah.
Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and Doge should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal...
I mean, everybody thinks the federal government is overfunded and overstaffed and inefficient. Everybody thinks this. This is a common thing that most people think in the country. And if you were to ask somebody, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, interview 100 people at Walmart, do you think the government wastes money and is inefficient? You'd probably get 100 people saying yes. So yeah, obviously they're going to support this. It's common fucking sense.
Government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this tape,
I'm
but
surprised
the numbers
aren't higher.
are the numbers.
Well, there is a view that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post.
Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed?
Paul. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and Doge, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are arguing.
Yep, there it is. Democrat government work was a meme before the term meme existed. You're right, and it's always been a meme. And I find it to be kind of funny that so many people are pushing back on this because I feel like in general,
that cuts across.
This is something that everybody believes. Now, you can say that the way that they're doing it is bad, and I think that's very fair to say. But at the same time, you can't be surprised that this is what people's perception is going to be. It's common sense. Let's see here. And let me look over here. Do you think it's wasteful spending to pay Elon Musk $8 million a day? Who's paying him $8 million a day? Who's doing that? Is the government doing that? Who's paying him $8 million a day? Are his own companies paying him that much money? They're talking about SpaceX contracts? What about it? So through subsidies? Well, I think certain companies should be subsidized. Yeah, I'm okay with the government subsidizing and giving money to certain private companies that do things that are in the country's best interest. Yeah, now you could argue maybe SpaceX or Tesla isn't a good example of that. I think that's very fair. And you can bring that up, definitely. But fundamentally, do I disagree with the idea? No, I don't disagree with the idea at all. And also, Biden did the same thing Biden did the same thing with Elon Musk too. So I don't think you can say that, oh, well, it's because Trump's doing it because Elon Musk is like helped him get elected, right? Because Biden was doing the exact same thing. Anyway, let's look at this.
But then you also overnight have this post claiming that protests at Tesla dealerships are illegal. He said today he would label violence.
The protests are illegal.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh. It's so dishonest. It is crazy. And this is the problem, is that like the people that do this live in so many layers of dishonesty that it's like it's almost impenetrable. Another round of mostly peaceful protests. Yeah, I guess so, right?
Against dealerships, domestic terrorism. Now, you know I am judicious in how I play this sound, but I think you need to hear it from him.
dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist, but then you...
Look at the first sentence. Some of the violence. The word is violence. It's not about the protests. Even the reporter is drawing the distinction. I think this woman would have a point if Trump was saying just the protesters, but he's not talking about just the protesters, and neither is the reporter asking the question. Let's listen to this again. And look at her. How do you... Really? You're like, oh, oh my God, bro. This is so smug. This is how idiots get brainwashed? I know.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships.
The violence. So, are we saying that violence is protesting? I don't think that's the way it works. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We
You're
catch...
reaching? Am I really? Like, let me ask you, what am I reaching for? I mean, I'm very confused by this. Why do you reach so hard? What am I reaching for? Let me, yeah, what is this? Reaching for logic and clarity. No, I'm asking, like, this is a genuine question. What am I reaching for? What is it? What's the problem? What's the issue?
So that's
what the reporter said?
That.
Okay. So let's listen to what she said.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist, but then you...
Do you think that is an accurate assumption and an accurate summary of what Trump said? And what the question asked was? Do you think that she's just saying what all the news outlets are saying?
It's the same one.
You're so close. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's my whole point. Yes, exactly. Yes, there it is. I think you're right. So let me ask you, like, and I'm not asking you, there's violence on both sides. Okay. That's not what we're talking about. Is it, like, this is so stupid. It's so stupid. What is this? Well, what about, there is this one thing that happened this a while ago, and this is goalpost. Yeah, get out of here. This is crazy. Let me see if there's any more information about this as well. And yeah, oh God. And I'll see if I can find some more of these too. I don't know really where we're gonna go and where we're going to start with, but I'm just looking at some of these here. Okay, yeah, oh, well, here's another one. Yeah, look at this.
It's looking like I might have to take one for the team, y'all. Everybody's been asking who's gonna do it. Honestly, truly, I ain't got nothing else to lose.
Man.
So what's up? Yeah, no. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I promise. I'm still here. See, the problem with that person didn't have the right plan. Okay?
I like how this guy thinks he's gonna outsmart all the Secret Service. You're like working at a gas station or something like that, and like you've got this fucking master plan about how you're gonna get the president. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, well, yeah, exactly. Like, what is this hero complex? I know. I think people like this should just, you know, in my opinion, I think a person making threats against an elected public official like this, I think they should go to jail. I do. And I don't think that there's any place for a person like this in a civilized society. I don't, and it's very weird that anybody would even run defense for it at all, and I don't understand it in any capacity at all. I think it's very, very, very problematic. Domestic terrorism definition: a person who commits terrorist acts in their own country against their fellow citizens. That is what's happening to Tesla. Bro, you don't understand. It's not terrorism because I agree with it. It's a protest. Yeah, you're not listening. See, yeah. What are you doing? You're so what is this here? So are you're not reading a dictionary, are you? You put that down. You don't want the dictionary lying to you.
Way back when, 2016, they saw that if they could just be contrarian to whatever Trump was doing, that got a lot of attention from Democratic voters. And Trump seems like a different Trump now. His cabinet...
The reason why it's different is that the public sentiment has changed and it's massively shifted. Like, look at the amount of people that supported mass deportations in 2016 versus now. It's a completely different landscape. And I think that one of the big reasons for that is because people were able to express opinions. The reason why people didn't have those opinions initially is because they were going to get banned and deplatformed for them. But now that that's not going to happen, well, it's not an issue.
It is a different kind of cabinet. I mean, things are moving forward. Things like Doge, you know, looking at the finances of America has been something we've long wanted. And now there's still, the Democrats seem to still be doing this contrarian position. And really, I think they should just get back to what is their purpose to begin with? Their purpose is to serve the American public. And so they should do that job and try and work with the current...
I think this is definitely true, and I think this is a problem that a lot of Republicans had during Obama, is that almost all of their messaging was just Obama bad. Like, there was nothing like really to like follow or to get excited for. It was just something else. Right? Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. Yeah, I mean, Obama's awful. That's fine, but like you can't run an entire campaign on just disliking one person and hoping that more people dislike them than people that like them. It's a very shaky foundation to have. Biden did. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't even really think that's entirely true, but to an extent, sure. Stupid worked? I don't know. Biden equals stupid worked? I don't think that's a...
president and try and get things done. Yeah. And then in doing that, they can see what's missing and what their party can offer instead. You know what I mean? This is what politics used to be like, from my perspective.
You're saying that Trump changed and the Democrats didn't. And what they need to do is go back to being public servants. But that requires listening, Justine. I don't even know if they know what the public wants. Do they have...
They don't. That's the problem. Is that like, and also they represent issues that average people don't care about. That's the big issue.
To go to like a little listening tour?
Yeah,
I mean, I would suggest a listening tour.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a part of that listening tour is looking at the polls and looking how people voted. You can't just decide you're going to do the opposite. Because when one side is doing something reasonable, then your opposite is just being insane.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, yeah, this is the issue that a lot of things have in the U.S. Like, if you guys are from Europe, you might not understand this. Oh, and this actually brings me to a point. I read this post earlier today, and I would respond, because I figured I'd respond to this because maybe the post got deleted. But there are people that thought that I was, like, anti-Europe. Just so you guys know, like, all of the European memes are just jokes. I like Europe. I think Europe's great. I think you guys have, in some countries, like, stupid speech laws, like, for sure. But I don't hate Europe. Yeah, if I'm saying, like, the fuck the EU thing, yeah, it's a joke, right? It's a meme. You might not like the joke, right, or whatever. That's fine. But, like, I'm not trying to be serious. It wasn't clear, to be honest. That's why, of course it wasn't clear. That's why people are upset. That's why I was explaining it. Yes, of course. Why would I hate the EU? Americans hating the EU. Where do you think the fucking Americans came from? Anyway, so yeah, back to this. Yeah, I think that basically having an oppositional perspective to everything makes you, in some cases, look extreme or irrational. And I think this is one of the reasons why I think Bernie was so popular, is because Bernie had a platform that was actually policy-driven, and it had a North Star. Like, the platform is like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this other thing. And it's like, even Trump, right? Trump had a North Star, where it's like, we're going to do mass deportations, we're going to audit the government, and we're going to close the border, right? We're going to stop fentanyl. Like, so there are actually, like, tangible things that you're doing rather than just simply, well, this is something that, like, oh, well, we're just simply against the current thing. Another Bernie take? Yeah, I think it's true. His policy was not that deep. This isn't an advocacy of whether the policy was right or not. I'm just simply explaining that you have to give something. It is not enough to give people something to root against. You have to give people something to root for. And that's how you really inspire people to, like, win an election or to do anything.
See how that's, you know, it's like we're watching the Super Bowl, and there's one team that's playing a game properly, and the other team has decided they're going to get up in the stands and, like, rend their garments and, you know, I don't do crazy things. And it's like, no, just be a regular football team, come down on the field, and you know, do a proper service to the Super Bowl.
That's what the Chiefs could have done against the Eagles, but alas, Justine, some things Trump said is sticking with me. He said that the Democrats are at risk of becoming a minor party. And this has happened before when the party just stops serving the interests of the American people. Do you believe that the party is really at risk of sidelining itself for a decade?
Well, I don't think a country with only one party.
Yes, by the way. The answer to that is absolutely yes. And the more extreme issues that they don't take stances against, like, for example, terrorism and, like, I mean, I think that's probably a pretty big one, like terrorism. Like, not taking a stance against terrorism. Yeah, that's kind of a bad one.
Is a great idea. I mean, I wish we had more than, you know, in a very serious, equal level, in a level way, you know, 3 or 4 parties. But, you know, there are parties in the past that have just disappeared, like the Whigs. So it is certainly possible. And I think there's more and more former Democrats saying, this is just too crazy. I don't understand what they stand for. And really, most people, they're the extremes on the right, they're extremes on the left. And most of the population is right in the middle and just wants common sense, wants the holes filled in the road, wants, you know, proper education for the kids.
Yeah, she's right about this. Most people don't care about radical issues, and radical issues alienate people on both sides.
Wants, you know, law and order, and every state in the nation doged. You know, these are reasonable things, and I think, you know, whoever wants to run on that ticket has a very good chance of getting our attention.
Is that person Michelle Obama? Because, you know, the first thing you do after you drop a podcast is that you run for office. Or am I just crazy?
Well, now that you...
I think Michelle Obama would probably be a better candidate than Kamala Harris was. I'll be honest. I think so. I mean, pretty low bar, but still.
Brought that up. A lot of us in California would like to know who's paying for This Is Gavin Newsom. And you notice that Gavin Newsom's podcast isn't titled Let's Talk About California or the California Governor Talks to You. No, it's This Is Gavin Newsom, as if this is your life and it's all going to be about him. Anyway, I know we weren't talking about him, but yeah, this is the politicians in California are a good example. Like you have the Treehouse, for example.
He's positioning himself to probably run for president, and so if he compartmentalizes his influence to California, it makes him look bad. Gavin Newsom's a really smart guy. He is. He's a really smart guy. I disagree with him on a number of things, but I think he's very competent. He's very smart.
This is a good example of what people really don't want. And I think a lot of people in California
it's respectable.
Are in the habit of voting for people with a D next to their name. And I think these voters are more and more seeing that they need to vote for the candidate and someone with competency and someone who actually cares about you. And
this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think they should take away the ability to vote down ticket for like everybody in one ticket. Like, oh, I only vote for Republicans or I only vote for Democrats. I think they should take that option out. I think it's a lazy option. It's stupid.
I think that is going to be, you know, the trend in politics. Fingers crossed.
I hope so. And if Gavin Newsom's watching, we know he likes Fox. Let's get that treehouse back up. Save the treehouse. Don't doge it, Gavin.
Save the treehouse.
I don't know what that is.
Take away this draconian limit on what people can charge for rentals.
Yeah, maybe less podcasts, more governing. Thank you so much, Justine. Good luck out there.
Yeah, I think that they have a big issue about, like, you know, basically taking up too many extreme policy positions and too many extreme points of view, and then ending up alienating everybody, because average people just don't want to deal with that type of extremism and that type of behavior. I think it's a massive fucking issue. News hitting podcasts again? Yeah, of course, because it puts them at risk, obviously, right? And that's the problem. We have intelligent, competent people in office, but they're captured by ideologies instead of morality and common sense. Well, the reason why they are is because those ideologies, there's also another component to this.
Of course.
Is that those ideologies are really loud on social media.
Hello.
So you have people that don't really have like any sort of like internal like North Star. And so they're just making decisions and doing things based off of what they think sounds good. And I think that's a huge problem. What extreme policy position specifically? I was going to say, like, you know, for example, like not coming out, like any Democrat that's not immediately coming out and saying that the attacks on Tesla, like, are just completely unjustified and they should be categorized as domestic terrorism and extremism. Anybody who's not coming out and saying that is wrong. And I think it's a huge problem that they're not saying it immediately. Does that make sense? That's not a policy. It doesn't matter. And that's not the point. Vandalism, yeah, it has nothing to do with it. Yeah, they probably paid for it. I don't know about that, right? But it's not policy. It doesn't matter. It is a, like, what would that matter? Like, why, like, so is it only a policy? And I think that, like, you're using the word policy as, like, a legal policy or, like, a law policy. I'm talking about a policy as, like, just a directive or a type of behavior, right? That's about it. Just be fucking normal. Yes, exactly. Let's see here. And, yeah, they aren't terrorism. The fact that you use it for liberal is going to be the same as Nazi in 3 years. It is definitionally terrorism. And there is no defense that it's not. If you, so I just want you to just real quick before we move on to the next thing. You look up the definitions. Look up the definitions and tell me that it's not. Personal preference is not a policy. Well, if you have a policy to categorize a group of people as a, what do you call it? As like a terrorist organization, or you're supporting the action of doing that, I think that is a policy. That absolutely is a policy. What are we talking about? Yeah, didn't we do this yesterday? Yeah, I don't understand this at all. Yeah, but blowing up a car is a policy. Exactly, right? Let's see here. I'll let this person respond. Driving can't have a full conversation, and I did. Bernie doesn't say fuck the EU. Joke, never happened. Use the word terrorism, same way the left loses Nazis. I don't think this deserves a ban. This is just a disagreeer. Like, I don't agree with him, but he's not doing it in a way that should be bannable. Let's see here. He'll get banned another day. It's okay.
Right? I think there's a feeling in the country, and I often say this, you know, we're about to turn 250 years old, right?
That's
we're still pretty young for a country. These are our, like our angry teenage years, right? We are going through this push and pull where we're happy, we're sad, we want this, we want that. And what do you do when you have a teenager who's threatening?
Am I the only person that thinks that the Democrats need to get this woman completely off of shows and have her stop representing the party? I think that she is a black hole of charisma.
Go on.
It is so bad. I've never seen her say or do anything that is in any way,
of course,
you know, like motivating or inspiring at all.
Themselves and others, you just try to get them through this period alive. so that their brain can fully form and you can come back
PTA
to
mom?
kind of what
Yeah,
I'm talking
kind
about
of, right?
No, I'm talking about our country. We're pendulum swinging. We're pendulum swinging. And so for me, I think that I don't think there's a single American who feels like this is normal.
I feel like there's plenty of people that think it is. I mean, I don't necessarily know if that's true. I think that's generally not true. Sounds crazy. I don't think she's really crazy at all. I just, you know, I think she's kind of, kind of average. What is this? I'll look at this real quick. And let me see if I can find it.
$100,000. You spent $100,000 on a trip to Disney. How much have you spent on charitable causes?
Charitable causes? Uh-oh.
This year technically just started, so this year, I mean, like, it's hard to...
What about last year?
Well, last year, you know, it's hard to gauge.
Oh, right. So what about the year before last?
Fucking nothing.
Oh, well, that year, that's a good year. Yeah, it's just blurry. I be doing so much.
BLM? Since you want to be so black powered?
BLM is a scam.
Clip that! Send it to the fucking news.
BLM was literally a scam. They had bought mansions, and you probably wouldn't know anything about it because you don't care about black people. You don't follow black people.
Wow. Oh my God.
I do care about black people. Look at my chocolate.
Man.
It's a disguise.
It's a disguise?
I think I'm literally the most pro-black person in this room.
Because you have an all-white staff.
You're not.
Who is this guy?
White.
Oh my God!
What? Don't laugh.
I do have a game, so I also am.
Gay?
Okay, he just went out and said it was a scam. Oh my God, Lil Yachty. Yeah, no, I know. I didn't know this was a thing. This is our 49th president? You think so? Is that right? First rapper president? It'd be either him or Kanye West, right? Yeah, that's so fucking funny. He also called out Bobby. That's fucking hilarious. For normal people, direct charity is a fucking scam in every way. Well, I think that some charity's okay, some isn't. I think you should look into it and make sure that you know what you're putting your money into, right? That's the most important thing to do because it's hard to be sure about it. I mean, it doesn't take that much time to figure it out, but if you do, you're gonna be, yeah, look into it. There are a lot of websites that rate charities and do that as much as possible. So yeah, nonprofit, way too open. Government charities, the real scam. You think so? But yeah, that was kind of crazy for me to see. And I feel like a lot of people are definitely like shifting on BLM a lot. Let's see here.
But I do have a second thing, Patricia, I really need to know. One of the things that I've been finding, we got into it a little bit in the discussion, but one of the issues that we're having is, and it's something here, I need your help on something. I need your help because all I seem to be doing lately is fighting back against innuendo and rumor stories.
Uh-oh.
And this is what I seem to be fighting about all the time. In fact, Patricia, part of it is with you.
Sure.
And I just need your help because when you start headlines with, there's a rumor going around, and that we've heard that.
It's all the fucking things, right?
They just making up bullshit to write stories. That's the reason why. They make up bullshit to write stories, and this is the way media like this works, is that they create a premise, and then they create a problem around the premise, and then the people that are affected by that problem or implicated in it now have to capitulate to the media to explain that the premise is wrong. So they effectively create a problem and then present themselves as the solution. This is the way media works. And not all media, but a lot of it does.
That hurts my veterans. That scares my veterans. That scares my employees because it's not true. Will you commit to not doing that in the future?
Well, there was a DOJ representative that day.
I have a VA employee who is our DOJ liaison. You knew that and you could ask that question.
I did ask that
But
question.
when you got the answer. But my question here is, I need you to commit to not starting off. Rumors began circulating.
I mean,
Well, if it's either true or false, Patricia, and then you go to Patty Murphy, saying that we've heard, and
it's a leading question in order for them to create a narrative that they agree with or a narrative that's detrimental to somebody who they disagree with. That's really it.
Doge may have barged into the VA today. Unconfirmed hearsay. You know what you'd have done if I was a member of Congress? You'd have probably done that. Unconfirmed report. But you didn't put unconfirmed report. So, Patricia, I want to work together with you.
Okay.
But I need you to commit to me that you're not going to do this.
I'm working on it, and I have been. Actually, I have another question based on that. Thank you very much.
No, I want to hear the answer first. Are you committing not to do rumors? Because you're scaring my VA employees about this.
That's fair.
And you're scaring my veterans. That's unforgivable. That's not something I take lightly.
But if a rumor is different than if I have a source.
Then you source it to our PR people and let them know. Because you know something, I've got people who are reporting stuff right now who aren't even calling us. They don't even get something from. They don't even call us to check it.
Well, that's not right.
Well, this isn't right either.
Okay. Well, that's fair. But I did call about that.
Good.
I did call about
And you got the answer. But yet you still report it as a rumor.
I'm so glad people are calling this shit out. I am. And I feel like I've seen this happen in like the very small microcosm that is like gaming news and gaming media. And because I've seen it happen in gaming news, now like I see it a lot more everywhere else too. Yeah, shut down so quick. Yeah, it's obnoxious. It's so fucking obnoxious to see this happen. She's about to say, what do you mean? Yeah, clearly, right? Caught her red-handed with the receipts on deck? Yeah, of course. These people panic when they're exposed to the dishonesty? Yeah, I agree.
Well, I didn't.
Okay, which is it? Which is it? Is it a rumor or is you get confirmed?
Was that there is a Doge person there.
There is. Okay, nobody has said that from you. Nobody. We answered it, but it was reported as a rumor. I mean, you think about this.
Issue with
and
parsing out
you know,
my stuff,
in the headline of the story, Elon Musk. Hey, I don't care who wrote it.
I know.
But your byline.
I'm starting to push back on those, and I.
Okay, but you think about what it says here. Elon Musk aide is now working at VA accessing computer systems. Ooh. And that's
a true statement.
No, it is, because you know what? We don't make a Doge employee, which is funny because they're VA employees, a liaison. We don't also give them a
I was not told that.
We don't give.
I was not told.
But you wrote the article.
Liaison.
You wrote the article.
Yep, exactly. I didn't know that. You didn't tell me this, and this is how it works, right? You either capitulate to us and explain things to us in our context, or we will make things up about you as a response. That's the difference.
The Doge employee, one Doge employee.
As we look at this, Patricia, I want you to know something. When you look at this headline and you're accessing computer systems, I want to work with you.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is like the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is the way the media creates its own self-sufficiency. This is the way the media creates the narrative that it is necessary and needed. All news media does this? Yeah, I think in a lot of cases they do.
A lot as we go forward. We're going to have a lot of time together.
That's fair.
But I'm not going to have any reporter scaring my employees and scaring the veterans.
Yeah.
That's what this is doing. Let's get it right. I'm the most transparent VA secretary we've had yet. I'm on video, I'm on interviews, I do everything I possibly can to push back against everything I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a team that will help you, but I need your commitment to help me too. Okay?
I think this is a huge problem that media has. Massive fucking problem that media has. Yeah, grilled? Yeah, 100%. Giga Chad, holy. Yeah, I'm glad. Holy shit, make this guy the president? Yeah, and I'm glad more people are calling it out. And I think it will continue to get just worse and worse and worse unless people call this out. Because as soon as people can see what the strategy is and how the strategy works, then after that, everything else makes a lot of sense. Do you see kind of what I'm saying about this? I think that's pretty much what's going on here more than anything. And I find it to be very, very fucking annoying. But unfortunately, this is the place that we're at, right? And what is this here? And how did what do you call it? How would it be fixed? I don't think any kind of agency would regulate it. I think having the public aware of it and having them knowing about it is the most important thing. That's what matters the most. What is this here, Hassan? A lot of people spamming about Hassan. Why are people spamming about Hassan? I saw people are saying he was watching one of my videos. What is it now? Yeah, what is this, Twitter? Let me see. I can pull up Twitter. Give me 1 second. Pause, understood, misunderstood the argument, open to clarification. He wants to talk about this. The problem is that I don't want to engage with Hassan because he openly creates, like, if you look at this right here, this is just generally the way it is. I found that, like, debating things and, like, arguing with people doesn't really help. It doesn't convince anybody or anything like that. You are beginning your criticism of me with a caricature of what my point of view is. Why would I engage with somebody that is intentionally being dishonest? Well, why would I do that? Of course I'm not going to do that. And also, I think that he's making a mistake by being, like, as extreme about this and being as, like, as wild about this. This is a person that is in the country on a green card, and there are restrictions for people that are on a green card. These are stated. He violated those restrictions, and I support the restrictions, and I don't want people who aren't citizens to come into the country and support terrorist groups. If Hassan wants people who are not citizens to come into the country and support terrorist groups, then that's his own prerogative, but I disagree with it. That's it. It's that simple. I don't know why this is complicated at all. I just made a caricature of his argument. No, isn't the person that got deported a leader of an organization that said that October 7th was a moral victory? Yes, no, misinfo? Okay. Well, how about this? Let's say this. And I'll give Hassan a little bit of credit. And also, like, just so we don't go back and forth, is it true, is it not true, it doesn't really matter. I think that before he gets deported, obviously they need to have a trial, right? There has to be a trial. There has to be an investigation into whether this is true or not. If it's not true, it will be found out in that debate, or sorry, not the debate, excuse me, in that trial, and then he won't get deported, and everything will be fine. So if this is actually true, then there would be no reason to be upset. And we will find out if that's true or not. It's that simple. That's it. And let's see here. And so we're against free speech now? I think that advocating for a terrorist organization when you are not a citizen is not something like, why would I want to have people in the country that actively support a terrorist organization? It's that simple. Yeah, no. No, it is an insane point of view, and only crazy people think that's good.
Yes.
No, I am shocked that there's even any argument about this at all. It's free speech. So you're right if he was a naturalized citizen, but he's not. He's on a green card. And if you're on a green card, there are expectations that are different.
Go.
It's that simple, yes. People in the chat don't like the Constitution. Yeah, let me see here. Visa revocation does not require a trial. Well, I think there should be an investigation into it or not. If it's not true, and all of this, you're incorrect about this, so there are tiers of citizens? Well, yeah, of course. Like, so like, for example, if you have a green card, you are a resident here, but you can't vote. So, like, that's a clear tier system, right? So, yeah, of course there's tiers. That's the way it works. Right? I mean, like, yeah, you're not, of course. So it's just, yeah, he's not a citizen, exactly. I don't know why this is such a weird perspective to have. Keep in mind, Mandela was labeled as a terrorist for his nation's freedom as well. You need to stop calling and you need to stop using historical figures in order to justify supporting terrorists. It doesn't help anybody. It is a moral optics argument, and it is retarded. Because Nelson Mandela did this, and like, what is really the comparison? It's probably a shaky comparison to begin with, but let's assume that that happened. It's not the same situation. It's never the same situation. It's very simple. Free speech has boundaries. If people are breaking the law or using free speech to violate somebody else's right, regardless of a citizen or not, yeah, of course. But yeah, having a green card practically means you're a naturally born American. What the fuck is chat talking about? It practically does, but it's not exactly the same. Green card holders are entitled to same First Amendment protections as U.S. citizens. However, under federal law, the government has the authority to arrest and deport a green card holder on terrorism grounds. So let's go ahead and, yeah, I mean, like, no, it's not. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty fucking simple, right? Certainly not a gold card. Check again. Well, let's look it up and find out. Can someone with a green card be deported for supporting terrorism? Let's see here. And can people with green cards be deported? They can be deported for committing certain crimes, failing to notify officials. For example, these are like not everything. On what grounds can they be revoked? Status is a fraud and they commit serious crimes. This is not exactly it. Let me see what here. I can pull it up and find out. I gave you the exact law. What was the exact law? Yeah, actually, yeah, just go ahead and let me know what it is. And this is, I'll just copy paste it. Okay. Let's see here. Copy paste that. Deals with the inadmissibility of aliens who are determined to have a physical or mental disorder history with behavior with a disorder that poses a threat to the safety or welfare to the others and is likely to reoccur. And so is this accurately what it is? I just want to make sure that we can find it. We know what's going on here. Is this the part? I mean, this is a really, really long sheet. Yeah. Engage in terrorist activity defined. Yeah, here it is. Just use AI. Well, I didn't want to use AI because if I used AI, then people would say that I'm using AI. And like, so it's not accurate. So I can't use AI because I know that if I do that, then people will say, oh, that's not the same thing. So engage in terrorist activity. So let's see here. And so these are the reasons. Classes of aliens ineligible for visas or admission. So here we go. Yes. And this is, again, B, terrorist activities. So an alien who has engaged in a terrorist activity has reasonable ground to believe is engaged in or likely to engage after entry with terrorist activity, intention to cause death, is a representative of a terrorist organization or a political group that endorses or espouses terrorist activity. So based off of this, if he is part of a group that endorses a terrorist organization, then according to this, he can be deported. So this is what the rules are. This is what the rules say. Now, Hassan might have a good point. Is this going to stand up against the First Amendment? And if he wants to sue the government and decide that, I think that's fine. Now, my personal opinion is that I think that people that are not citizens and that are supporting a terrorist organization should be deported. I think they should. Now, he can disagree with me about this on freedom of speech or anything like that. That's fine. But if I'm reading the data and I see this myself, I feel like this is an open and shut case. It is. get him the hell out. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy this even needs to be said. Well, it does, and I think that like really the problem is that this level of extremism is detrimental to I think that the cause that Hassan supports, and I think is a noble cause for a lot of the Palestinians who have been displaced and have had their lives ruined. And I think that Hassan is doing a disservice to them by trying to take a person who is viewing a terrorist organization as a good thing, and they're looking at this person as if they're worthy of defense. I think that average people will see this and it will radicalize them against Palestine in general. And I hope he understands that. Now, he might disagree with me on this. He might think that's not what he's doing. I think it is. And I think we're going to have to wait and find out and see how many people agree with this and how many don't. But I think there's a lot of people that have watched the videos of Hassan running defense for terrorist organizations multiple times. He didn't need to do that. And I think that him doing that, the only thing that that did was make his position worse. I think it's own goaling. It's own goaling, and I don't know why he's doing it. So, yeah, love terrorists. So yeah, this is what it says here. And let's see here. Endorses, espouses terrorist activity, or persuades others to endorse or espouse terrorist activity or support a terrorist organization. So, and there's an exception here as well, who did not know, should not reasonably known the activity. So he didn't, basically they didn't know about it, right? So yeah, it's really just that simple. Do you not understand with that logic, the government can scoop any tourist, visa holder, or green card holder up without any charges? So you're upset about the process. You're saying that you don't like the process in which this person was apprehended. I think that's fair. You can say that, sure. I'm not going to argue with you about that a whole lot. I could see that as a point of view, definitely. But my ultimate opinion on this is that the people that are supporting terrorist organizations should absolutely be deported if we can deport them. Absolutely. Why are we allowing people that are in the country that are supporting like this is it's such a crazy, radical, insane position to have. And again, if this law, and this is another important thing, if this person was a naturalized citizen, I would not be saying this. I'm only saying this because there is specific literature referring to his exact status that actively categorizes his behavior as problematic. That's it. So I feel like that's really it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. And they agreed to these rules to be here. They did. And people stayed where they were born. This wouldn't be a problem. This is why I'm against all immigration. I'm not against all immigration. That's a bit much. I don't think so. It's possible Hassan takes extreme positions consistently, just be that guy to keep himself news and relevant. Well, I don't know. If you can prove it being the biggest qualifier. That's right. And so they do have to prove it, etc. So, self-proclaimed communist ideologist. I think that I've been very fair to Hassan over the years. I think that I have been. And I'm trying to be fair with this as well. But in terms of like arguing and getting on screen, I have no intention of arguing and debating with anybody about this. It's not something that I like doing. I don't find it to be enjoyable. I think it's annoying and stressful. And ultimately, also, I'm not going to engage with this because Hassan is beginning his criticism of me with a misinterpretation. Yeah, I'm just not. I don't feel like doing that. There's not much to debate. Yeah, there's really not much to debate. It's either this applies to him or it doesn't. It's really just that simple. And again, I think that if they want to use the argument and say that, well, it might not apply to him, then yeah, I think he should challenge it as much as he wants. But that's it. What did that prove? Yeah, exactly. Videos on detained guys taking over buildings and espousing support for Hamas. I don't know. Yeah, I saw some video about it, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
Wild beast.
You know, offering much more charity than he does OG. Well, he can have whatever community wants, right? And I think that's fine. But my perspective on it is very simple. And I think that also this perspective is supported by the vast majority of the country. The vast majority of the country sees a person who is an active terrorist sympathizer and a supporter, who is a green card holder, and most average people see this and they say, let's get him the fuck out of here. Taking the opposite position is not to anybody's benefit at all. That's it. So yeah, we don't want him, and again, you can just look at it right here. It is that simple. There you go. How long before pulling a Rosie becomes a thing? I don't know, but let's see, where is that anyway? And let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, her leaving the U.S. Except the terrorist benefit? Yeah, I guess so. To be fair to him, I despise it. Listen, if I am unfair to people and I make it personal, the problem is that if I do that, the outcome of that is that now I'm not being fair, and I think that I owe it to my viewers to be as authentic and as accurate as possible. That's really it. Why is it different though if he's effectively the same for a naturalized citizen? Well, why is it okay? Like, I mean, then under that logic, why can't he vote? I mean, that's it. So, would you consider Johnny Somali to be a terrorist? That's a good question. I feel like the national security for South Korea thinks so. Yeah, I think so. And why the fuck is he going around and saying that, what was it? I'm trying to remember. Why is he going around and saying that he, that he wants Kim Jong-un, he supports North Korea, wants him to leave South Korea? Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, and also, by the way, I think that's I used this the other day. This is a great parallel. Everybody would say, obviously South Korea should put this guy in jail. They should get rid of this guy. Immediately fucking deport him. This is a guy, he's coming here to start trouble, cause unrest. They should absolutely fucking deport him. I said the same thing about Japan. Thank God. Different laws, but yeah. Yep, there you go.
Sand, thank you.
And Somali deserves jail, piece of crap. Yeah, I think so too. Did you watch the latest Trump podcast? Is that what it's called now? They're called podcasts? So yeah. You have the chronically online Redditors in chat today trying to justify this stuff? Yeah. And I really think that, like, justifying this extremist behavior is really dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. It's very problematic. And I don't really know why anybody thinks that it's a good idea. Exactly, what did the guy viewer say to his label? Well, I mean, look, I've explained this 5 times. I've explained it 5 times. We're on YouTube. I explained it yesterday. I talked about it today. I feel like we've gone over it many times. If you want to look it up, you can figure it out, right? Yeah, we're on a loop. I think that we can move on, right? That's about it.
There is power in this
yeah,
object.
I've already explained it multiple
I
times.
can feel it.
We understand? Yep. There we go. It's that simple. That was part of a group that called for deaths of Western civilization. That's not so good, man. And, yeah. And, seriously, just walk in. Oh, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Let's see here. Free speech is important. We should be glad to get pushbacks on some gray areas or even some close to gray areas. You know what? I actually, so I'm gonna pull this guy's message up and then, like, because I think this is a good point. There's a lot of crazy graphic positions, the rest of whether it's protected speech or not. Based off of what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, I think that it's not protected speech. And I also don't want it to be. I don't want to have people that aren't citizens coming here and supporting terrorist organizations. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't want it. I don't. And like, that's my honest opinion. But I think that you bring up a really good point that what really matters is, and I think that the advocacy for free speech is great, I just wish these same people would be advocates for free speech when they disagree with it. It seems like the only time that I hear the free speech argument from people like this is whenever they want to talk about terrorism. It's disappointing because I think that free speech is really important. So yeah, this is a good point, and I think that actually it is a good conversation and a good spirit. So yeah, clarification is always beneficial. No, I appreciate this comment. This is fine. So yep, there you go. Super agree. Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, you guys see what I'm saying? Trump's speaking now? Is he really? Is that true?
I don't really want to do it now.
Oh. I don't think so, right? Yeah, I don't think he is. Is he or not? Let me see. No, Trump's live on Twitch. Is he really? Is that it? No, you only freedom of speech when you're doing your own freedom of speech? Yeah, sure. And it's great when Americans go to other countries and cry free speech, forgetting they're not at home. Yeah, true. The White House YouTube? Yeah, sure, I can look it up and find out. This is a rerun, guys. Yeah, this is a rerun. I had already seen this. This already happened. Yeah, it's live, guys. I think victory is mine. Shit up. Yeah, this is from before. I mean, this is about wild beast. It's not really that exciting, right? And also we have that SpaceX thing that's happening in like 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. Hope you'll check the startup time date. No, this one is. It says 70 seconds ago, so that's definitely it. And yeah, no, it's happening. And it's going to be crazy because apparently this is the ship that's going up to rescue the what do you call it? It's going up to rescue the people that were stranded at the ISS, I think. And so yeah, the SpaceX and NASA are targeting no earlier than Wednesday, March 12th. For Falcon 9's launch and the operational space launch, yeah. And so they're going to be up there for 6 months, apparently. So it's not like they're coming back down today, but that's it. Longer down. Yeah, about that, right? So yeah, it's that simple. And Trump farming views, yeah, sure. And are they considered aliens now? They've done millions of missions. This is the crew that they're realizing Pride 9. The home's already there. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly like what the details are and everything like that. I have no idea. Right? Maybe in the real world. I'm just not sure. Yeah. Start and okay, now they need to find that. So yeah, we've got more time.
Didn't break a sweat.
Let's not worry about it too much. Wait, the right? Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah. They're not stranded. It's just that if the two leave, the two that stay don't have an emergency escape. Well, so then that means if the other people get in there and they come back, they're not. I think that's a good thing. If the two leave and the two stay, then that will. I hope the astronauts make their statement goes wrong in order the Democrats will make it Elon's fault and try to politicize the tragedy. They have before. Like the thing is with the that always happens. And Amazon says DMing you. Yeah, he is. As I said, the thing is that mental is too dangerous, wrong route. Well, if that's true, then you should stay. Yeah, and that's really it. I mean, like, I think that there's two sides have to do it, right? And if that's the way that the law works, I mean, I don't really know exactly how the law works. This is what I've heard before. That's if. Yeah, exactly. Now, in my opinion, by the way, this is still my opinion. I don't want to have anybody in the fucking country that's not a naturalized citizen that's supporting a terrorist organization. And I don't think that we need to afford the full rights of freedom of speech to people that are not even citizens to advocate for terrorism. I think this is an insane position to have. Now, if Hassan, here's the thing though, if Hassan is right, if he is right, then he should stay. I just don't think he is from everything that I've read and I've seen about it. That's it. So we're gonna find out. And bro, how do you argue against that? I don't know. I have no idea how people argue against that. But yeah, and let's see here. No Patriot action on this thing. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot all about the Patriot. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and look at it. And it's easy to argue against that. Yeah, I don't know. Check out Senator Kennedy's response to that. Oh yeah, I did see a little bit about that. What about the guy's name?
Nice, thank you.
And I think that's probably why it's so yeah. There's already a court date. Good. I'll be watching the court date and we'll see what happens. But either way, I think it's important to find out the borrow. And so, and you can tell Hassan, and I'm sure Hassan then not only should he not get deported, but he should sue the government for unlawful imprisonment. If he's right. I think the law matters a lot.
Garu Khan
the law
favors
is extremely
me.
important. And while I may disagree with the law, you have to follow the law. And so I think this needs to be decided in court. From what I've read, from what I've seen, and also, to be fair, ideologically, I want him to fuck out. However, if that's not what the rules say, then he gets to stay. That's it. It is that simple. Yep, me too. Yeah, change the rule. And yeah, by the way, I think maybe we should change that rule. Seems a little bit problematic to have people in here doing that. But you can't change the rule retroactively, right? And sure. Let's see here. So we can never attempt to enforce the law. Well, that's not wrong, right? And so if the law is enforced in a way that's wrong, that's what matters. The document uses proofs for undocumented aliens coming into the country, not legal permanent resident. I'd have to go back and see it again. Let's see here. You want to fuck out? Yeah, can we move on now? I'm sorry, but sorry if it's annoying, but it's covered. Yeah, I feel like we've pretty much covered it. And so, yeah, I mean, if we can't accept that, I don't want to sit around and argue about this. I don't think either one of us are really experts in it. But I think that ideologically, I want him out. But if the law says he's not out, then he shouldn't be out. That's it. And if that's not enough, I don't know what to say.
A rare treasure.
This is CNN breaking news.
And we're following the breaking news of President Trump saying...
This video is old news. It's not happening? Really? Is that true? It's done? Oh, shit. Canada, back down. Okay. Yeah, I guess... okay. Never mind. Ho up.
The right thing to do is what we're doing. We're going to get our jobs back, and we're not going to be laughed at. Now, I will say this, that already Canada, and I respect very much, as you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad
surprise.
thing if he did. And
anybody could have expected
that, so I respect that. We've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico. But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The European Union is horrible. And we're going to get it back. And I have a choice. I could just coast, and eventually there'd be a blow-up down the road, maybe a long way. But we owe $36 trillion, and we're going to get it back. We're the biggest, we're the best, and I'm very optimistic. I have to tell you, I'm very optimistic about the country.
That was President Trump on the news that Ontario's Premier Doug Ford today backed off his threat of a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to Michigan, New York, Minnesota, after President Trump doubled his tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum imports to 50%. Joining us now from the Senate DOJ and Senate Budget Committee, he's the one and only Nebraska Senator, Senator Pete Ricketts. Senator, we are so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. What is your take on this tariff fight? We're seeing high tariffs out of Mexico, Canada, and China, anywhere from 10% to even 50%. What do you make of this? We know the market's hitting turbulence. America has been abused for years. Do you feel the White House is communicating to the markets exactly what the problem is and what the end game is? What do you think?
The Trump administration is being very clear. In fact, the president's been very clear. He's only got two uses for tariffs. One is to get countries to do what we want them to do.
That's the main one. Yep. For example, I'm tired of winning.
Victory is mine.
The thing is that, like, and I hope you guys know that I'm meaning is that, like, I actually I'm not a big fan of the aggression on Canada. Now, I think that, like, doing it, if, like, we're at a trade disadvantage, I think that
That's not gonna work.
The average weighted tariff that we charge products coming into our country is 1.5%. The rest of the world charges our products an average of 6% tariffs. And that means it's 4 times higher. We want to get to that to be a level playing field so our companies have a fair shot of exporting our goods and services over to places like Europe and as I mentioned before. So he's got a strategy. It's a little different depending on the country, but it's really about trying to make America more safe and more prosperous.
But it's really interesting how you just laid it out, Senator. And there's also this, you know, the Trump team, they're trying to detox the economy off of Biden's historically massive government overspending, plus the money printing. They're trying to get back to above Joe Biden's 2% annual growth. They're trying to do deregulation, unleash U.S. energy, unleash U.S. manufacturing, make the tax cuts permanent, and stop this flood of illegal aliens pressuring the system. We can't run $2 trillion annual deficits anymore, but I really want you to take a reaction and listen to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt today. Listen to what she said. Watch.
Merck has opened a $1 billion facility at its North Carolina site. This is just the latest pharmaceutical company to boost its U.S. manufacturing in lieu of President Trump's tariffs. This announcement follows
it's really funny because, like, after he's talking about 500 and like 400 billion and like $1 trillion, I'm thinking like $1 billion. I'm like, oh, bro, like these guys are like who? Yeah, they're not even trying.
Lilly's plans to invest
it's only $1 billion.
To
oh wow!
4 new manufacturing plants here in the United States. And Pfizer has also said it's considering moving their manufacturing overseas right here to the United States of America. As the president has said over and over again, when we purchase products made in the USA, profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and most importantly, the jobs stay here. And despite the globalist mainstream media's attempts to worry consumers, President Trump will not repeat the trend.
I mean, this girl is really nice, but I do think sometimes about how crazy it would be if Alex Jones was the press secretary. That would be amazing.
Past American presidents who broke their promises to the American public and smiled while they stuck a knife in the back of American workers and shipped their jobs overseas.
That's what do you think of the chauvinistic companies talking about expanding into the U.S.? The media and Democrats are saying, well, these are just promises, they're not real. What do you hear?
My experience with President Trump is that he gets people to deliver on what they say they're going to do, or else they pay a consequence for it. And so I would expect these investments to be very, very real, and will create American jobs. And again, it gets back in line with President Trump's goal of creating more prosperity here in America. You know, the president talks about how we've been treated unfairly by the rest of the world. And again, I just gave you the stats on the tariffs. And what he's trying to do is level that playing field, get the investment back here in this country so that we can create the jobs here. And by the way, this is also important for national security, that we diversify our supply chains out of places like communist China. We can't have all our pharmaceuticals being made there. We saw what happened during the pandemic. This is also about national security as well as our prosperity.
That's a really important point.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think that anything made in China has like a secret Chinese bomb attached to it, and that if we ever go to war with China, China will just detonate the bomb and blow up everybody's computer. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Well, no, I'm serious. There's a lot of people that think this, like the fucking the beepers thing. Seriously, like Hezbollah? Yes.
Not talking enough about what you just mentioned, Senator. Really important. You know, we want to talk
There's
about
a lot of people that feel that way.
Wall Street.
Israel literally did that to Hezbollah. They did.
Goldman Sachs economists talking about recession, and then we see other market pros saying no recession. Something was reset. It feels
Didn't
like
break a
in
sweat.
1981. We have strong payrolls, strong consumer spending at around 3 or 4%. You know, Wall Street pros think the stock market bottom is pretty close. That this market action that we're seeing, Senator, usually happens late in the downside. It's very oversold. We had an ugly rotation out of big cash into safe haven plays. We saw that happen in the tech bubble burst in 2000. The rest of the market did fine back then. Can you talk to us about how this feels like Reagan 1981? Slow stagflationary growth,
I couldn't tell you.
government overspending, and then the Reagan tax cut, Senator.
Yeah, actually, there's a great analogy here. I was just a kid back in 1981. But we can see what happens when you deregulate the economy and bring in taxes now. We saw it during the Reagan administration, and we saw it during the first Trump administration. President Trump cut, I think, 8 regulations for every one he put in place because he understands that small businesses are the ones that create most of the jobs, and they have the hardest time handling regulation. And if you look at, for example, the FIB Small Business Index on their attitude toward the economy, it's very optimistic. It's had the biggest jump in optimism in its history, and it's still very high. So when you see small businesses being optimistic about the future, you can bet that they're going to be making investments and creating jobs.
That's a great thing.
Well, that was a very informative interview, Senator Pete Ricketts. That was terrific.
We'll see what
we
happens.
hope you take the time and to come back on soon. That was great. Thank you so much for being with us. It's good to see you.
Great.
Man, stock market's not the economy, by the way. Well, I mean, it's important, right? But, like, it's not the only thing, of course. But, like, yeah,
This has a history of its own.
I wonder what's going to happen with all these countries. When all these countries have these companies have their stuff here, and it's all automated. Because I think this is what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of these factories, like they're actively trying to do this as fast as they possibly can to like automate this as quickly as possible. So that's what I'm kind of countries. Okay, guys. Yeah, Trump mentioned that. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with it because personally, I think that could be a huge thing because like you're going to have all these people and putting their money out there for this, and they're kind of like, yeah, UBI gig economy. Yeah, no, I feel like this has been a huge issue, and it's just going to keep getting more extreme. And UBI, no, they're speedrunning UBI. I think that they are too. Personally, I am a very big advocate of UBI. I think it's going to happen, and I think it will have to happen. The only way that it doesn't happen, this is the only way it will not happen, is if they take everybody that's poor and they put them in jail. That's the only thing that they can do. Yeah, what's UBI? Yeah, take all of the poor people, like half of the people, and they put all of them in jail.
You shitting me?
And what's UBI? Universal basic income. They already do that? Yeah, but like not as much as they could be, right? I mean, they could be doing a much better job. So yeah, it's that simple. Considering how long factories take to build, I'm skeptical that they're going to invest into something and they'll be relevant in 4 years while the tariffs are gone. Most of this crap feels like companies placating Trump with empty promises. That could be possible. Yeah, I mean, you're right. And I'm sure, by the way, some of them are like that, definitely. So, yeah, we'll watch this, and then after this, I'll watch the Tesla thing, and then we'll probably play some games after that.
Time is of the essence.
Because, yeah, I'm expecting to, why placate? Well, I don't know. I mean, that's just, it's what's in their best interest, right? Let's see here. And we give these jobs more pay to appeal to people instead of encouraging people to make money doing nothing streaming. Okay. Okay, let me just stop here for a minute. The fact is that if people are giving you money, then that's the only thing that matters. I have never cared about having a real job or having anybody respect my job or anything like that at all. The only thing that I care about is just doing what I want to do, and that's it. That's it. So if you want to tell me that streaming isn't a real job, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, as long as I'm getting money, that's what matters. And honestly, what's funny about it is that it doesn't even matter if I get, you like the money justifying your practice? Well, it's more that, so basically, I don't really get a lot of like, I get fulfillment out of a lot of different things, but the main thing that I get fulfillment out of is by doing things that I enjoy doing. And so if I'm doing something that I enjoy streaming, then the fulfillment is in and of itself. It's not about somebody approving it of me. And Happy Hemp Gaming getting 10 subs. Thank you very much for the 10 subs. I appreciate it. Yeah. Anything that makes money as a job? Yeah. People said the last presidency and companies that committed to writing butt theories. Yeah, we'll see what happens, right? I'm tired of putting the fries in a bag, bro. Yeah, I bet so. And I think that's what, yeah, money's a tool. Yeah, I mean, to me, I just simply want to do what I like doing, and that's the only thing that matters to me. Yeah, and asthma motivated by peace of mind, not the money. Yeah, but money does give you peace of mind. It's important to keep that in mind. You're the most uncaring, uncapitalist streamer ever. Am I an uncapitalist? Am I don't know, like, I don't really think about that. Like, I'm not like a big, like I'm mainly a capitalism enjoyer for sure, but like, I don't think it's anything should be 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's an entertainment job, most humble as well, absolutely. Yeah, maybe anti-consumer? No, that's video game companies. Let's see. And a society can't function if everybody cares about themselves only. I think that sometimes it can. A lot of times people look at caring about yourself and they only see it in the first order of effect of doing things that are beneficial to you. But I think that when I think about caring about myself, I think about positioning myself in a way that's beneficial to me. Does that make sense? And like, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the only person that I help in that situation. Like, I help other people as well. Like, of course, because those people can then in turn help me. Yeah.
In their response to facility, and are they really just inspiring? Well, we don't know the answer to the question. Because we want to know whether they're prepared to do it at this time. We'll have contact with them today. They've already been in contact with different levels, different members of the administration, and that'll continue. But as far as the Russian reaction to it, it's also a question, and that is, what is this? 2 hours old.
What the fuck is that?
We're going to say that Ukraine is prepared to stop all battlefield activity and begin the immediate process of negotiating an enduring end to the war, and we'll see what their response is. If their response is yes,
I think one of the reasons why this happened is they froze the aid too. Because if they know America's not going to keep giving them aid, they're fucked. I mean, they just are. And so, like, because it's already been going on for this long, yeah, they basically had to do this.
You know, we've made real progress and there's a real chance of peace. If their response is no, it would be highly unfortunate and it would make their intentions clear. So that's what we're hoping to hear from them. And obviously, as I said, this was not prearranged with them. So they're probably processing the news the same as the rest of the world is. So we hope to have a positive.
Yeah, they might not know what's going on. Why would the winning party on the battlefield accept a ceasefire until their demands are met? Because it might not be worth resources to continue doing it, and they could settle for something that's good enough and then stop doing it. Like, even if you're winning also costs something. Like, he's thinking about from Russia's POV, right? Like, I mean, there's a cost of winning and there's a cost of losing. Losing costs more, but winning also costs money.
That's
pressure from them. The ball
lives,
is
and
truly
it's
in
like
their court.
bullets are expensive, bombs are expensive.
Train with the Voice of
Think
America.
about it.
What would be a good G7 joint statement on Russia and on China?
Well, I think the perfect statement would be that the United States has done a good thing for the world in bringing this process forward, and now we all eagerly await the Russian response and urge them strongly to consider ending all hostilities so people will stop dying, so bullets will stop flying, and so a process can begin to find a permanent peace. I think the first step in all this is the acceptance that there is no military solution to this conflict. Neither side can militarily achieve their maximalist gains, their maximalist goals. Neither side can achieve them through the military side. The only way this conflict...
That's probably true. I mean, like, yeah, probably true. It's a really good point. Yeah, it's like this is just like you're not getting anywhere, they're not getting anywhere. Like, how much longer do you want to waste your money?
What can end is through negotiation. That's the only way you're going to have peace, is through negotiation. And so we need to start that process. And it is hard to start a process when people are shooting at each other and people are dying. So our hope is that we can stop that, all these hostilities, and get to a negotiating table where both sides, over some period of time with a lot of hard work, can find a mutually acceptable outcome that, in the case of Ukraine, obviously secures their long-term prosperity and security.
Mr. Secretary, could you just update us on Mr. Witkoff's plans for Moscow and whether he'll be meeting with President? And then separately, if you wouldn't mind elaborating on something that Mr. Waltz said yesterday about the specifics that you discussed with Ukrainians about what the end of the war would look like. You had mentioned you're not going to get maxed out all lines, but did you actually talk about it?
He didn't break in his sweat.
Yeah, I think Ukraine is 100% getting it. Like, I really hope that I'm wrong, because I don't think that they should. And I think it's bullshit that they should have to. But I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm not going to make any announcements about specific dates, times, or even confirm such a trip. Suffice it to say there's going to be multiple points of contact with
They don't
the
have the
Russians,
cards?
to gauge are they willing to do this or not. And as far as the conversations that were yesterday, yeah, when you sit down with a counterpart like Ukraine, you know, we're not going to negotiate this publicly. We're not going to actually put out there sort of what we talked about, because in any negotiation, there's an element where you don't want one side to be doing more else from a public perspective. We had a broad conversation about what it was, but I think the bulk of our conversation was what a negotiation process would look like in terms of not the specific conditions, but rather the timing of it, sort of the steps they would like to see taken. The Ukrainians made very clear that this isn't just about ending the war. They need to get the war back. They need to get the children back. They'd like to see an exchange of prisoners of war. They'd like to see the children back. So there's all sorts of things tied to the humanitarian assistance, which is important as well. There are areas of Ukraine that have been badly damaged that require immediate assistance. So these are the sorts of things that we talked about as being inclusive in the negotiation process. So really the whole
children, yeah, of course, right? Somebody says early in his presidency, Vladimir Putin expressed interest in Russia potentially joining NATO. In the 2000 interview with BBC, he stated that he could not envision Russia isolated from Europe and suggested that NATO membership should be considered if Russia were to be treated as an equal partner. Now, I'm not a very big conspiracy theorist, but I think that to an extent, I would not be surprised if maybe there is a possibility that a lot of these escalating tensions with Russia are just artificial in order to justify more money spent on defense. That's just... Maybe I'm wrong. But I sure feel like that's convenient. Keep the machine working? Yeah.
A rare treasure.
And maybe not, right? Maybe not. Maybe, hey, maybe they're actually bad and that's all, like, it's all true. But it could be a little bit of both. Who knows? I don't know. But, like, and again, all I'm saying is that basically what my point is like, I don't trust the government at all. And I don't trust the military even less than I trust the government. And anything that the military does, I I don't know, right? I mean, like, maybe not. Not orchestrated by, but definitely capitalized on. That's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right. Peace is horrible for military funding. That's the same way to approach it. Yeah.
So our conversation when we got to that stage of it was discussing the kinds of items that need to be on a negotiation agenda, even when we hope to get there.
You also mentioned security guarantees, which is something that there has been some reluctance for the administration to elaborate on. Are you committing?
Well, I think the point, you know, the point to understand is that we're looking at is securing their long-term. What we want to see is, like any country in the world, Ukraine wants their long-term security. They want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We all do. What is the point of spending all this time to get a ceasefire, hopefully, and then a negotiated end of the war, only to see it re-spark up again in about 6 years, 4 years, 3 years? No one's, we're not interested in that. Those are around highway. So I think the question really is more about a deterrence. Can Ukraine create a sufficient deterrent against future aggression, against
I think that one of the best deterrents that they could do is having the U.S. do a lot of joint ventures in Ukraine that have a lot of United States people there. That would be probably the biggest deterrent from Russia attacking, because they don't want to directly aggro the U.S. Like that in my opinion, I think that's probably it.
Future attacks against future.
The mineral deal? Well, I understand that.
And no one can refuse that. So that will most certainly have to be part of the conversation. But again, I don't think there isn't a peace to secure until you have a peace. But there's no way to have an enduring peace without the deterrent peace being a part of it.
To occupy them? No, absolutely not. No, it's that we would work together with them. I think that would be a good thing. Yeah, of course. So let them join NATO like they wanted, fuck Russia? I don't know about that. Yeah.
Talks about European partners being involved in the peace process, but that's only a Ukrainian delegation.
Garukan favors me.
Well, I think what it says in the statement is that they raised the need for the Europeans. But I've already said publicly, the Europeans have issued a series of sanctions against the Russian Federation. And I would imagine that in any negotiation, if we get there, hopefully, with the Russians, that they will raise these European, the European sanctions that have been imposed upon them. So I think that the issue of European sanctions are going to be on the table, not to mention what happens with the frozen assets and the like. And so I think it's self-evident that for there to be a peace in Ukraine, at the end of that process, there's going to have to be some decision made by the Europeans about what they're going to do with these sanctions and so forth. And so that's why I think they have to be necessarily involved in this regard. Now, whether they're involved at the front end of it or at the back end of it, it'll have to play itself out. And then obviously there's also all sorts of security promises that European countries have made to Ukraine, that will also be, I imagine, a part of this conversation as we move forward. So we don't disagree with that statement. I think the statement just reflects that they raised it.
Would you back European peacekeepers in Ukraine, which is something Russia is categorically...
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's different ways to construct a deterrent on the ground that prevents another war from starting in the future. We're not going to go in with any sort of preconceived notion. The bottom line is it needs to be something that makes Ukraine feel as if they can deter and prevent a future invasion. How that looks and how that's put together, that's what we're going to be talking about. If we can get to that stage. Again, right now we're just trying to get to the stage where there's actual diplomacy happening. Here's what we'd like the world to look like in a few days. Neither side is shooting at each other. Not rockets, not missiles, not bullets.
That would be good.
Nothing, not artillery. The shooting stops, the fighting stops, and the talking starts. That's what we want to see. What happens during that talking and how that evolves, I think we're going to have to be flexible and nimble and creative and patient and work hard at it and hopefully turn it into something that's concrete. You've covered, many of you have covered foreign policy for years. That's how these things happen, and they're not easy, and sometimes they're difficult to predict which way they're going to go in terms of the specifics.
Little Marco's come a long way. Yeah, it's actually crazy to see this.
But we just want to get to that stage. That would be,
I think he's really good, too.
For lack of a better term, a good problem to have to figure out how to negotiate a peace, because we're actually negotiating a peace while the shooting is stopped.
Is the mineral deal essentially the security guarantee that you guys envision? And then the second question is, President Trump appealed to a lot of Americans during his campaign on free speech arguments and not suppressing speech, especially from the government. But your revocation of the green card, to many, is seen
Again.
as one of the most anti-speech actions a secretary could take with his powers. How do you respond?
Yeah, I mean, the first question was again
Is the
minerals deal. Yeah.
version of the security guarantee?
Well, I think that a minerals deal is something that I think is beneficial for both countries. Certainly one of the things that provides for Ukraine's long-term prosperity and security is vibrant economic growth and development. Their GDP begins to grow, and that gives them a tremendous amount of leverage and power and the ability to fund their own defenses. So I think certainly any economic development for Ukraine is positive for their own people. Obviously, the United States has a vested economic interest somewhere. We're tied to them on the economic front. We're in partnership with them on something. We will have an interest in the future of Ukraine as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't count it as a security guarantee, but certainly if the United States has a vested economic interest.
Us having people there and a bunch of our shit there is a security guarantee, basically. It's not like in writing, but it's implied.
That's generating revenue for our people as well as for the people of Ukraine. We have a on your first point, when you enter the
Didn't break a sweat.
when you come to the United States as a visitor, which is what a visa is, which is how this individual entered this country as a visitor's visa. Okay, you are here as a visitor. We can deny you that visa. We can deny you that if you tell us when you apply, hi, I'm trying to get into the United States on a student visa. I am a big supporter of Hamas, a murderous, barbaric group that kidnaps children, that rapes teenage girls, that takes hostages, that allows
Sound like some great guys.
to die in captivity, that returns more bodies than live hostages. If you tell us that you are in favor of a group like this, and if you tell us when you apply for your visa, and by the way, I intend to come to your country as a student and rile up all kinds of anti-Jewish student, anti-Semitic activities, I intend to shut down your universities. If you told us all these things when you applied for a visa, we would deny your visa. I hope we would. If you actually end up doing that, once you're in this country on such a visa, we will revoke it. And if you end up having a green card, not citizenship, but a green card as a result of that visa while you're here in those activities, we're going to kick you out. It's as simple as that. This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I think. Yep.
To a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa,
that's it,
or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason. But I think being a supporter of Hamas and coming into our universities and turning them upside down and being complicit in what are clearly crimes of vandalization, complicit in shutting down learning institutions. There are kids at these schools that can't go to class. You pay all this money to these high-priced schools that are supposed to be of great esteem, and you can't even go to class. You're afraid to go to class because these lunatics are running around with covers on their face, screaming terrifying things. If you told us
that's true. I mean, they were acting crazy. They were, like, it was not a protest, bro. That shit was a rust base and a riot.
Intended to do when you came to America, we would have never let you in.
Yep.
And if you do it once you get in, we're going to revoke it and kick you out.
Can I ask you about the Canada stuff coming up? The president has.
As I said, I am just in astonishment that there's any pushback. In astonishment. But to, again, Hassan and the people that agree with him, to their credit, if they can defend this guy and it's legal, then he gets to stay. But I certainly fucking hope he doesn't. Supporting groups like this, you're a piece of shit.
Thank you.
State from an economic standpoint, he says that they became a 50-foot state, we wouldn't have to worry about its border and fentanyl coming across because now we would be able to manage that. He's made an argument that it's their interest. So obviously the Canadians don't agree apparently, but well, that's not what we're going to be discussing in our trip here. So they're the host nation, and I mean, we have a lot of other things we work on together. We defend North America from NORAD and most states of our business together. So this confirmation and other commonalities. So we're going to be focusing at G7 on all of those things. That's what the meeting is about. It is not a meeting about how we're going to take over Canada.
Garu Khan favors me.
I don't know. Should I be? What do you know that I don't know?
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So what's the point? Yeah, I mean, they've invited us to come. We intend to go. The alternative is to not go. I think that would actually make things worse, not better. So it's the G7 stuff. No, those are policies. So at the end of the day, the president's made those decisions and explained why. It's not just against Canada. It's not just against Mexico. It's not just against G7 countries. He's imposed steel and aluminum tariffs now on virtually the entire world. And the reason why is not to punish them. It's because he has outlined the need to develop domestic capabilities. If you don't have steel and aluminum, you can't build warships. You can't build airplanes. And you're not an industrial economy. There are things we have to be able to protect, and there's a lot of unfair trade practices. A lot of countries out there who subsidize their industry so that they can basically build up markets for it. So they're subsidizing industry. They're operating at a loss while our industry is trying to compete. And that's why you don't have steel. And that's why you can't produce the aluminum. And that really threatens our national security in the long run. So these are national security concerns when it comes to steel and aluminum and some of these other products. But ultimately, the president feels strongly, and I personally agree, that we have made some decisions when it comes to trade policy that have led to the deindustrialization of America and have left us deeply vulnerable to any sort of interruptions in global supplies and/or.
I agree with this, by the way. I do. Not entirely. I mean, you can't be self-sufficient with literally everything. Is it beneficial to do that? I'm not sure. But in a general sense, I do agree with that.
Being used to extort us. Not to mention our inability to produce things that we need for our own economy and for our own defense. So that's what those policies are about. Every country in the world, we expect, will act in their national interest. The United States forgot that. President Trump is reminding us of that and getting us back to that. And I think it's quite possible that we could do these things and at the same time deal in a constructive way with our allies and friends and partners on all the other issues that we work together on. And that's what I expect out of the G7 in Canada.
On Russia, did you have or Waltz have any contact with Zelensky while you were in Saudi Arabia? And then
I didn't. I don't believe Mr. Waltz did either, but I did not. But that was the team he selected, and it was appropriate. It was his closest advisor. It was the foreign minister. It was their head of security. So we felt that that was the counterparts they sent, and to deal with us. And that's obviously pretty common in these sorts of things. Generally, the heads of state meets heads of state, and appropriate counterparts meet others.
Yes.
I imagine he had to get back, and he's the president of a wartime country. So he's, but we did not have any contact.
That crazy, that side by side of Zelensky before and after the war. Man, that sucks. That's crazy, bro. I thought it was bad for Obama. Man. He's seen some shit. Yeah, that was bad.
Read anything into it other than he selected his team for these talks, and the president selected his. So.
Was there any discussion with the Ukrainians about how a ceasefire, if Russia agrees, would be enforced? How would the U.S. ensure part?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about modern warfare is it's easier than ever to monitor, and simply because there's so many eyes on the ground, and there's also all sorts of overhead, commercial satellite and the like. It would be pretty hard to hide drone strikes. It would be hard to hide missile strikes, ballistic strikes, artillery. So we feel like that is something that could be monitored. Obviously, if in fact the Russians say yes, let's hope they say yes. If they say yes, one of the things we'll have to determine is who do both sides trust to be on the ground to sort of monitor some of the small arms fires and exchanges that could happen. But those are practices that have become common in these, and I don't think that would be difficult to set up. We didn't get into specifics, but obviously the need to monitor a ceasefire is clear to everyone.
Just a quick follow-up on this question. You haven't.
I'm gonna have to get back on the plane.
So, this administration has not hesitated to put a lot of pressure on Ukraine to reduce their intelligence support in the middle of a shooting war. You temporarily cut off their arms, criticize them publicly, not you, but leadership in public.
But Trump.
Are you truly prepared to apply pressure on Russia should it be recalcitrant and not agree to the terms of this ceasefire?
I feel like they already have. I mean, we already have sanctions on Russia now. We've had it for years.
Concrete action that this administration has taken to punish Russia since.
Well, There's a couple points. To be clear, as far as I am aware, the United States has not provided armaments to Russia. The United States is not providing assistance to Russia. Every single sanction that has been imposed on Russia remains in place. Every single sanction the president inherited remains in place. Right, but well, I mean, they're pretty sanctioned up. I mean, there's a lot of sanctions on already. My point being is that there's been no steps taken to relieve any of these things. These things continue to be in place, but we don't think it's constructive for me to stand here today and begin to issue threats about what we're going to do if Russia says no. Let's hope they say yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and people want him to do that because it's good content, but ultimately, obviously, it's a bad idea to do that. But it's very good
let's
content.
Understand, I remind everybody and bring you back to the point. The president's desire here is to bring about a lasting and enduring peace in Ukraine. He wants the shooting and the fighting to stop, not just for 30 days, not just for 60 days, but permanently. To do that, both sides have to come to the table. We are happy. We are happy that the Ukrainians have agreed to do so. Now it is up to Russia to say yes. If Russia says yes, that's very good news, and we will begin that process and do everything we can to move that process forward. If they say no, then obviously we'll have to examine everything and sort of figure out where we stand in the world and what their true intentions are. I think it'll be, if they say no, it'll tell us a lot about what their goals are and what their mindset is. But I don't want to go into that before they've even answered us by issuing statements that are abrasive in any way. Our hope is that when we met with them last, they expressed a willingness under the right conditions, without elaborating on the right conditions, to bring an end to this conflict. That was our question when we met with them. I think I shared it with you that we're on our trip. The point of meeting with them was to find out, is this a war they wanted to end, or is this a war they just wanted to continue to in perpetuity until they achieved whatever goals they have in mind? And they expressed a willingness, under the right circumstances, which they did not define, to bring an end to this conflict. So we have Ukraine ready to come to the table. Now we need to get Russia to come to the table. If they do and the shooting stops, I think that's a very good day in the world. Obviously, no one here is pretending that negotiation is going to be easy or fast or simple. But at least we've gotten to that point. If their answer is no, then...
I mean, you gotta respect it. I mean, like, I do. I'm glad that they're at least trying to do something, right? The dude's in flow. Yeah, he's farming, man. Yeah, he's well-spoken. Yeah, he's really, like, he's really improved. What would you bet on? What would I bet on? I would bet on it ends and Ukraine gives up some concessions and we have a minerals deal in place that maintains a degree of implied security guarantee by having more American investment in Ukraine. That's what my, like, you want to clip it? That's what my prediction is.
And obviously we'll have to deal with that, and we'll have to at that point make decisions on that basis. We're not there yet. Hopefully the answer is yes. Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you. Thanks guys. There it is. And the land Russia took over has the rare rocks. Well, then they can't have it. Yeah, then we need to get those rocks back. That's it. What will Russia give up? Probably nothing. Russia is in the advantageous position. They're in the advantageous position, and it's hard to, and like also they give up the war, stop fighting and stop bombing things, right? And yeah, and I don't, yeah, the prisoners, right? That's one thing. SpaceX launch, yeah, no, I know. We'll get ready. We'll watch it. I know it hasn't. I don't know if it started yet or not. Let me go back and double check. Yeah, it is.
Around the moon.
Holy shit! Oh yeah, it is starting.
We're having a good time.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. You know, it's one of the best things about our job is serving in all these different capacities.
It's a nuclear threat that's massive. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm glad to see it happen. And the refineries, yeah, they're gonna go save them. Yeah, today's the day.
One of the best parts I think about
this is a big fucking day, and this is, guys,
all the time. A lot of
very important. This is not the rocket that blew up the other day, okay? It's a different rocket. This is not the right rocket.
Onboard systems. We're testing out something for an
it's a new one. This is the good. They were using the bad rocket. This time they're using the good rocket.
We've got some beautiful views that we've been looking at of the launch pad 39A out there, where our rocket's going to be taking off just after sunset at 7:48 p.m. Eastern Time. We're expecting a beautiful launch tonight, Jessica. It'll be in twilight, which, as we know around here, for people who watch rocket launches, once that thing gets off the pad, it'll be a little dark on the ground, but very light up high, where the rocket will be doing its separation from the first stage, and see all kinds of rocket exhaust being illuminated by the sun.
It will definitely be a gorgeous view. Very special lighting in that twilight period. So it will be quite a show for everybody on the ground here in Florida.
Looking forward to watching it with you. Jessica, of course, has been gracious enough to spend the last 3 hours providing her inside analysis about the pre-launch operations and milestones as we count down to launch of Crew 10. Liftoff time still holding for 7:48 p.m. Eastern Time and 57 seconds for those who like to know it right down to the dot. Crew 10, ready to go. All right, let's check in with our team at SpaceX, who will be providing us commentary, along with our NASA commentator. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Hey, Daryl. I'm Jesse Anderson, a senior production and engineering manager here at SpaceX.
And I'm Anna Schneider with NASA Communications. We're excited to be joining you from Mission Control here in Hawthorne as we count down to liftoff of Crew 10 just over an hour from now. Of course, Crew 10 is our 10th operational mission with SpaceX, flying astronauts for long-duration missions to the International Space Station. Crew 10 will have 2 first-time flyers on board, as well as a veteran NASA astronaut and veteran Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA astronaut. And the multinational crew also represents 3 different space agencies, with NASA, JAXA, and Roscosmos all represented on board.
Today's crew will fly aboard the Dragon spacecraft named Endurance, which previously flew the Crew 3, Crew 5, and Crew 7 missions. Overall, this will be Dragon's 46th visit to the space station and its 14th human space flight to the orbiting lab, which includes NASA's Commercial Crew Program missions and private astronaut missions with Axiom Space.
And over the last 3+ hours, Crew 10 has been going through the detailed process of getting ready for their mission to the International Space Station. So let's go ahead and take a moment to introduce you to the crew flying today. In the commander seat is NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She's making her second trip to low Earth orbit. The Spokane, Washington native and U.S. Army colonel was selected by NASA as an astronaut in 2013.
DEI?
And has spent a total of 204
because it's a woman,
days
yeah.
in space, completing 2 spacewalks totaling 13 hours and 8 minutes outside of the orbiting laboratory. Next to McClain in the pilot seat is Nicole Ayers, who was selected as a NASA astronaut in 2021. The Colorado native graduated from the Air Force Academy and is in Colorado Springs and is a major in the U.S. Air Force. This is the first space flight for Ayers. Serving as a mission specialist is JAXA astronaut Takuya Onishi. Today's flight will mark Onishi's second trip to the space station.
All right.
And he was selected as an astronaut by JAXA in 2009, logging 113 days in space previously.
Damn.
Now, to round it all out is Roscosmos cosmonaut Kirill Peskov, also serving
This is smart
as
for
a
them to
mission
do this.
specialist. Peskov was selected as a cosmonaut in 2018 and will be making his first space flight today as well. Once on board the International Space Station, Crew 10 will briefly become members of Expedition 72 and then Expedition 73 in April. During their mission, they will conduct space station maintenance along with scientific research to understand material flammability, contributing to future spacecraft design, and study how spaceflight affects human physiology and psychology. The crew will also engage with students worldwide via ham radio and use its existing hardware with newly integrated software to test a backup lunar navigation solution.
Now, to date, SpaceX has flown 56 crew members to space since the Demo 2
I wonder
mission
if they're
in May
stressed out.
2020.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, if I was in one of these rockets, I'd be scared.
At T-minus 45 minutes,
I would
we'll
be
listening for the team to report their readiness for propellant load with a final go, no-go poll. It continues to be a smooth countdown so far, and we're looking good for an on-time liftoff at 7:48 p.m. Eastern Time from Launch Complex 39A in Florida. Now, here on the ground, the teams will be staffed around the clock in mission control just behind us to monitor Dragon and the mission, not just today, but throughout the entire mission. That's from liftoff to Crew 10's arrival at the space station, all the way through splashdown when the astronauts return back home.
Bro, stomach is fucked. Mine?
Headset in mission
No
control,
way.
which you can see there on your screen. There are 6 key positions. The mission director is in charge in the room and tasked with making real-time decisions to ensure mission success. Now, the person that you may hear talking to the astronauts is the crew operations and resources engineer, which you'll hear
I feel like they're more worried about getting incinerated alive.
And the 4 additional team members are focused on
I don't think they're probably even thinking about being an itch.
Avionics, navigation and control, software, propulsion, life support, and communication with ground support teams. Now, apart from mission control, our Falcon 9 team is currently located in the Launch and Landing Control Center at Hangar X. And with less than a minute, with just over an hour until launch, they are settling in for final checkouts, propellant loading, and launch.
And NASA has its very own team members as well at NASA's Mission Control Center in Houston, Texas, who have been preparing the International Space Station for Dragon's arrival.
Tesla launcher legit on board?
Is scheduled to dock to the
This is a
International
legit
Space
one.
Station early tomorrow
This
morning
is
on
no
March
like,
13th. And
no,
the
we
teams
left
in
some of the
Mission Control
panels off
Houston
for
recently
testing
gave their
shit.
go for
There's
launch,
people in
confirming
there,
the
they're going to
space
the
station is ready
space
to receive
station.
Dragon and the new crew. Following liftoff, today's flight to the space
Yeah, this is
station
a real
will take
one.
around 11 hours, with Dragon flying autonomously the entire way. Now, docking again is targeted for 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, March 13th. And just like autopilot on a commercial aircraft, the crew always has the ability to take manual control of the spacecraft if needed.
And before all that happens, as the booster returns to the launch site and slows down from supersonic speeds, people in the immediate area may hear a brief double clap of a thunder-like sound known as a sonic boom.
Similar sonic booms like this were heard during the return and landing of the space shuttle, and sonic booms like these are one of the hallmarks of reusable systems like Falcon.
Here's what some of these booster returns have looked and sounded like on previous missions.
I know a lot of people are going to be excited when they hear the sonic boom.
And these are going to provide quite a show. You're going to hear those sonic booms.
The Falcon 9 actually has an emergency escape system if the rocket fails. Good. Wait, what about the hands that grab it?
Sonic boom is great for us.
Whatever happened to that?
Broke the sound barrier.
Damn. That's nuts.
Just heard the 2 sonic booms here in the room.
That's for Starship? Okay. So this is like probably about the size of like one of those mortars, the fireworks mortar.
And counting down to today's launch. While we wait, let's check in with NASA's Leah Cheshire at Johnson Space Center to see how things are shaping up at Mission Control in Houston. Leah?
Thanks, Jesse and Anna. I would really love to hear one of those sonic booms in Florida, but today we are here at the Mission Control Center at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This is really NASA's hub of human spaceflight, and the team here is ready for launch. The International Space Station is ready for the crew to lift off as they begin their journey to the orbiting laboratory. Now, in the home stretch of the rendezvous, NASA and SpaceX flight controllers will enter into integrated operations. This means both flight control teams will conduct a series of go, no-go polls for Dragon Endurance's docking to the space station. Rotation missions like Crew 10 help NASA continue to maximize the important research and technology demonstrations made possible only in the International Space Station's unique microgravity environment. The space station is critical for NASA to prepare for future commercial
microgravity
destinations.
The fuck is that?
And to understand and overcome the challenges of long-duration spaceflight necessary for a long-term presence on the moon and crewed missions deeper into the solar system. Yes, I am talking about Mars. Now,
that's gonna be
here's
nuts.
a closer look at the mission and what Crew 10 will have to look forward to during
Bro,
their
if we go
stay
to
aboard
Mars,
the
that's gonna be
International
insane.
Space Station.
Like, I honestly wouldn't even believe it happened.
The Crew 10 mission is going to be a rotational mission to the International Space Station.
We will?
So we will launch aboard the SpaceX
I hope so, man. I really do.
capsule and the Falcon 9 rocket.
I'm just enjoying the way towards the launch. Of course, I'm looking forward for the
Mars
day
is
of launch.
the United.
We are going to stay there about a half a year.
So the first goal of Crew 10 is to
We get
continue
there first,
learning
we
about
own
the
it.
Dragon and the Falcon 9 rocket that we're going to be flying on to enable SpaceX to continue their development of rockets and even private astronaut missions in the future. The other
The real
mission is to get us
51st state
safely
is
to the
gonna- yeah,
International
real
Space Station
51st
so that
state's
we
gonna be
can
Mars.
crew this incredible national orbiting laboratory that we have and continue the science experiments that we have ongoing there.
One of the
Oh my
unique
God.
characteristics of the International Space Station is microgravity.
We get to learn how humans and plants and other types of hardware react in the space environment and the microgravity environment.
And it helps us to develop.
Is that way to,
kind
like,
of
exercise their
new,
muscles?
Materials, medicines.
Oh, God.
It helps us to
I hate looking
push
at
our
that ship.
knowledge forward.
The discoveries that we make on board the International Space Station then inform what we do
I'm
on
a
Earth,
pussy,
and
man.
it allows us to further
That's
both
one of the things
humankind
that-
here on
yeah.
Earth and
Yeah, I
get
don't
to
like looking
further
at-
places in the universe.
So I've often been asked why we explore, and I think it's different for everybody.
To avoid atrophy?
When,
Yeah, it makes
people
sense.
are born, they naturally want to explore their environment, first as babies, and then as kids, and finally as adults. That's how we expand our world, and that's how we find something new.
Every time that we make a further step, we learn something and we learn how to adapt, and that is so important to humanity.
This is probably the main things which drives us forward and helps us to survive as a species.
There are so many unknowns in space, and as explorers and as humans, we want to find out what's in that unknown. For me, it's the fact that I get to be a small piece of figuring out what the unknown is and taking that next step to get to the moon and to Mars and the Artemis program.
Our ultimate goal is to go to Mars, but it's not an easy journey, and when we face a new challenge, we must.
How long would it
solve
take for like a
step
ship
by
to go to
step.
Mars?
I think that's one of the biggest
Like with
benefits
people
of
on it.
the International Space
How long does
Station.
it take?
We're outside of the atmosphere, and now we don't have the protection of the atmosphere. What happens, and how do we better
6
prepare
months? That's
our
nothing,
people,
bro.
our hardware, our food, our water systems for that deep space exploration? That's really important on the
I thought it was
space
gonna be
station
like
that
6
we learn
years.
those lessons now when we're in low Earth orbit. That way we know what we need to bring with us when we go onto the moon with the Artemis program.
One of the things that we do on the International Space Station is work with our international partners all across the world.
I think it's hard to overestimate the value of international cooperation and space exploration because we all know that it takes much time and effort.
Space is hard, it's very challenging, it's sometimes unpredictable, and that's why I think cooperation is the key to success.
The International Space Station wouldn't be international without all of our partners.
And our goal is
10 minutes in a
to
portal?
be a beacon of hope.
A
for
step
all of
closer
humankind,
to legend.
So that people can look and say, this is what we can accomplish when we work together.
I asked Anne what she's most looking forward to, as well as Nicole, and she says it's really satisfying for her to work on hardware with her hands, then get it into the Japanese airlock, and then go see it working outside in space, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is one of the perks for sure. All the different things that we're doing every day, whether or not you're just being an operator or a subject for an experiment, loading up the Japanese airlock. That was one thing that we did several times during my mission where we were deploying some small satellites via that airlock. So we did all the work of configuring
Colin, do you
them
think
and
until the
putting
first
them
guy
through, and
jerked it
we
to
watched
space?
them shoot out and be in orbit around Earth. So really
That's
cool.
pretty cool. That's neat. And Nicole said that she's looking forward to anything that has to do with fluid dynamics because that's what she got her master's in. So looking forward to that.
It already
we got
happened?
some social questions for
Yeah.
you. We've been doing a great job for the past 4 hours answering them. Let's take a listen at this question, or rather, I will read it and you can listen as we get your expertise while looking at a beautiful shot
How do you brush your
outside
teeth in
at
space?
Launch Complex 39A. The question from Oxidized 93 is, how do you brush your teeth in space?
Well, the short answer is just like you do on
Yeah,
Earth.
it's the same.
But a few nuances. You know, water behaves so differently when it's not falling down, so the surface tension is much more important. It keeps those water droplets together, so you can just get a small water droplet on your toothbrush either before or after your toothpaste. Brush your teeth just like you do on Earth, and then no sink, unfortunately. So you got to figure out what to do with anything else that's in there. Some people might swallow it. I usually would spit mine out into a small wipe or a towel. We have a go through a few
That's
towels
probably
per
that.
week.
Yeah.
I favor the
Swallow
latter.
it. That's
Like
gross,
you.
bro. That's
We have
nasty.
another question. Pop it up real quick.
Who the fuck swallows
Peter
toothpaste?
asks, do astronauts get any music played in the capsule before launch? Hold music.
Yeah, in the Soyuz we did for sure. While we had a long wait period, we had actually curated our own lists. We each contributed a few songs. So
Dragon, go ahead.
We are continuing to track the hydraulics issue and will provide an update as we get closer to LESR.
Oh, shit.
However, at this time, you are go for Section 5. When ready, report go for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, copy 4.100, Section 5 in work.
All right, you heard SpaceX update the crew there that they are still working on the hydraulic issue for the clamp arm, building their flight rationale. They'll have an update for them to find out how they're going to proceed forward. In the meantime, they're moving with the next milestone, getting ready to.
Yeah, this one looks way smaller than the other one.
Now to Megan Cruz.
The one the other day was fucking insane.
Nearby launch viewing location. Megan.
It's Elon's fault. Is it?
You might be able to hear the crowd, but I promise you there is a big crowd here just off camera over here. And
did he do this?
Floor of a nearby building that really gives an incredible view of the launch pad just to the left of me. But yeah, let's introduce you to somebody that we have with us today. You know, there are people across Florida as well as Texas, California, all working the launch. And one of those folks is Mike Ravenscroft. He's with NASA's Commercial Crew Program, and he just stepped off console a few minutes ago to be able to chat with us. It's really great to have you here, Mike.
Hello, Megan. I'm glad to be here. Thanks. Appreciate everything.
All right, Mike, I know.
Crew is go.
Mike, it says crew is go for launch. You know, why don't you talk to us about the issue with the clamp arms that we've been tracking? I think we just
is it broken?
About that issue.
Does this mean they're not going to be able to do it,
or
what?
So the team's been really hard at it. SpaceX and NASA team's working hard on.
Let's see.
Ground hydraulics. A ground hydraulics issue on the vehicle release system. So they've been actively working this. I think we just heard them talk to the crew and give them a heads up of the issue, and they're still actively working that. This is a concern basically is just how the vehicle is held in place and during release when the vehicle is at liftoff. So teams are actively working that, and hopefully we get resolution soon and can continue on with countdown.
And Mike, you know, we just said that you stepped off console. What does that mean to be on console? And yeah, what is your team listening for?
Much safer the rocket take a crew to space than a Starship at the moment? I would fucking hope so.
Yeah, so the team's
let's be honest. I would really hope so.
With
absolutely.
Performances, they compare it to previous history. Was there anything abnormal from when we had static fire to today? And so they're off actively looking at that data, and between SpaceX and NASA teams discussing if we have a path forward and if we can continue and get resolution.
Okay. Well, Mike, why don't we let you get back on console? We know that, again, you're actively working an issue with your teammates there, so we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan.
All right, guys, let us get another update with our SpaceX counterparts and our NASA counterparts over at Hawthorne.
When was the last year we went to the moon? Yeah, I feel like that hasn't happened for a while.
Falcon 9 is the first orbital class rocket capable of
72?
reflight. Together, Falcon 9 and Falcon 8
just did that.
have 450 launches and over 380
Guys, come on.
And today, the booster will be attempting to land at Landing Zone 1, which is just down the coast from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This will be the second flight of the first stage booster supporting the Crew 10 mission.
The moon's fake. How could it be fake?
Government, commercial, and scientific opportunities in space. Lowering the cost of access to space is helping take humanity steps into the solar system, whether it's interplanetary or even deep space. When costs are lower, government and commercial customers can launch more missions.
Thank you.
Commercial satellite and private research customers can afford to launch more projects in space, which helps stimulate innovation here on Earth. All of this to say, reusability is the key innovation that is making space more accessible for the
That's the main criticism people have, is it the amount of resources doing this cost? That's the main thing.
International Space Station 13 times, and as we mentioned earlier, today's Crew
I do feel like we should go to the moon again. I do.
Previously flew the Crew 3, Crew 5, and Crew 7 missions.
Yeah. But we speak first time. Either one.
Then returning human spaceflight capabilities to the U.S. and even helping launch 2 additional cargo missions.
Live stream on
All of these missions
really
have been designed for research to be conducted in low Earth orbit at the International Space Station. The space station also plays a key role in enabling a robust economy in low Earth orbit. In addition to supporting private astronaut missions, the station is open for commercial and marketing activities, supporting commercial companies conducting research, as well as in-space manufacturing initiatives and aiding the development of technologies for commercial space stations. As part of these initiatives, SpaceX has supported the next generation
There
of
is
commercial
power
space
in this
exploration
object.
with the launch of
I
3
can
private
feel it.
astronaut missions to the station.
Didn't William Shatner go to space?
With the 4th mission slated for
Yeah, I remember that. That was a while ago.
SpaceX's drive to
And
unlock
Jeff
space
Bezos
does not
too.
end there. In 2021,
Yeah.
SpaceX launched Inspiration 4 on a 3-day journey around Earth.
It was all fake?
And there you could see some of the
He's
footage
the
from
captain?
that mission.
No, that was a TV show, man.
It was the first mission to space. Missions like Inspiration 4, Polaris Dawn, and the upcoming Prompt 2 allow commercial astronauts to conduct research and other activities in microgravity new technologies while orbiting Earth. As some of you may recall, last year the Polaris Dawn crew reached the highest Earth orbit ever flown since the Apollo program, participated in the first ever
Didn't break a sweat.
EVA from
Bro, I would be scared as
Dragon,
fuck
wearing
doing this.
SpaceX-developed EVA
I'm gonna be.
suits,
I would be
and
so
conducted
scared.
36 research studies and experiments designed to advance both human health
Like,
on
what the
Earth
fuck,
and during
bro?
long-range spaceflight. Mars, and beyond.
For nearly 25 years, NASA has supported a continuous presence in low Earth orbit aboard the International Space Station, and just yesterday, the space station surpassed over 150,000 total orbits of the Earth. Now, NASA is a new model featuring commercial space stations to ensure sustained access to low Earth orbit for microgravity research. Our commercial low Earth orbit development program is using a two-phase approach to first support the design and development of commercial space
150,000?
stations.
Yeah, how the fuck does that happen?
Absolutely, very exciting. Now, back to today's mission. We are coming up on T-minus 50 minutes here to launch, and our teams are carefully moving through the pre-flight process. Now, a lot of preparations have brought us to this point, including a dry dress rehearsal and static fire on Sunday. The dry dress rehearsal will be practiced before launch, where all the steps are conducted except for the loading of propellants, which is why we call it dry.
Yeah.
The integrated spacecraft and rocket are rolled out to the pad and raised vertically.
Would I go to
and
space?
the crew and all of the support teams go through their steps exactly how they would on launch day to make sure that they're ready when we do go for launch.
Yeah, I would be.
However, during a static fire test, which we also did earlier this week, the crew is not present. Now, propellants are loaded,
Space
and
stream?
the
Yeah,
engines
exactly.
on the boosters are fired for a few seconds while the rocket is held down to the launch mount. The data from the static fire test is then reviewed and incorporated into NASA and SpaceX's decision to proceed with launch.
And all of that hard work now brings us to today. And next up in our countdown, SpaceX's launch director will check in with the team for readiness, both for propeller load and for launch. As mentioned earlier, the Dragon launch team and NASA launch members are in the Launch and Landing Control Center at SpaceX's Hangar X in Florida. The launch director will also check in with the Dragon mission director, referred to as MD, and NASA launch manager to make sure they're ready to move forward. Right now, the crew is on board Dragon, waiting to get the green light to stow the crew arm for launch and arm the launch escape system. Once the launch director gives the go-ahead...
My dad called to tell me to work things out with Elon Musk's because he said the area behind the rocket ship looked like it would be really good for fishing. And then that way I could go to SpaceX and he could go with me and he could go fishing there.
The right direction is currently at a less than 5% chance of violation at our target lift-on time, which is great. Our teams will continue to keep an eye on the weather and have our final refueling weather briefing at about T-minus 45 minutes, which is just about 3 minutes from now.
And there on your screen, you can see a live view of Falcon 9 and Dragon at the launch pad, Launch Complex 39A in Florida. Just under 48 minutes away from launch. We've conducted several weather briefings leading up to this moment, starting with one at T-minus 48 hours a couple of days ago, proceeding into the most recent weather briefing a couple of hours ago. All of the weather continuing to look good, as Jesse mentioned. The one item they're currently tracking for weather, it would be on the abort corridor, but again, that looks pretty good at this moment. Again, our teams will be staffed around the clock in mission control to monitor Dragon, not just today, but through the entire mission from liftoff to Crew 10's arrival at the space station and all the way through splashdown when the astronauts return.
So they're going to be there for 6 months.
Coming up in about 2 minutes.
Is it kind of like they're going to take some guys up and then some guys come down with it? Is that kind of how it works?
Minute mark. And then after that,
that's what's happening, right?
Have a decision on the hydraulic system, whether we are go or not, and if that's been resolved. And then after that, we will see that crew access arm stow to begin around the T-minus 43-minute mark.
How are you feeling on this one? I think this one's going to be a W.
Systems are looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, they've done this like 50 times.
Just working this one issue is
really?
a ground side issue.
Like this is a different, right? This isn't the bad rocket. They're using the good rocket this time.
They're currently strapped into their seats inside of Dragon,
it's not gonna be a problem.
on top of Falcon 9 as we speak right now, patiently waiting for an update.
Yeah. And
so
once
stay up there,
does get
400
to the
times? Wait, really?
Station,
Damn.
They will
so
of course have a brief handover period with Crew 9.
I've never seen this happen.
And then after that handover, once weather looks good for a splashdown,
did you know Earth is the center of the universe? That's not true. I am.
The end of their mission. So it's a busy time
I don't know what you mean.
as we complete these crew rotation transitions at the International Space Station. Now at just under T-minus 46 minutes, so we should be coming up on that launch director briefing here shortly. Continuing to see a live look at the launch pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. You can see the clear skies all around.
Dragon, LDM countdown.
LD Dragon, go ahead.
Awareness here, wrapping up this hydraulic issue. We'll get back to you in about another 4 minutes or so on the answer.
I think this will probably launch though. Third time's the charm. No, the other rockets, those were the bad rockets. This one's way smaller, see? Like everything around it's kind of below size. Like this water tower, the fuck this is. Like the other rocket was massive. It was like a fucking, like a skyscraper.
Like Daryl said, we might have a nice twilight launch over there in Florida, so if anybody is in Florida and able to go outside during T0 for liftoff,
victory is mine! There is power in this object. I can feel it.
There's a lot of fucking water there. Find something
issue that's been mentioned
let me see.
Times here now. The
there's
only issue
I think there's a car right there.
Related to the hydraulics on a clamp arm, and those clamp arms are located on.
I think right. There's nobody else driving. I don't see any cars over there. This rocket's the other one. It's like the difference between 5'11" and 6 feet tall. A lot. Big difference. 2 or 3 times the size. Stand down, wait, what? What? Show me that. No, there's no way they didn't cancel it. Grudge means canceled? No, hold up. No, they're gonna do it. Just do a live, guys.
And we did just get that update. We are continue to troubleshoot and hopefully fix this issue for the next attempt that we'll have for Crew 10.
Yeah, and there's several other attempts this week. We'll see where we end up, but there's another opportunity about 24 hours from now that they could potentially take if that issue is addressed.
So it gotta be tomorrow.
So from here, the crew
Will of the Medicaid.
get the crew out of Dragon and off the launch pad and bound to their quarantine facility.
Bro, I'd be so stressed. I'd be pissed. Because like you spent the whole day stressed out about this shit, now you gotta do it again.
I forgotten.
100 will be
Oh.
there. I expect that you should be standing by in step 3 decimals 2.
Yeah, it's like now you gotta do this shit twice. It's torture. Yeah, it sucks. It's better than dying. Yeah. True.
36 copies. Crew report ready for sea rotation, and 3 decimal 3 will report when we step in.
Some comms between the core and Crew 10. They are preparing for egress. You are going to hear
This has a history of its
called out
own.
Well,
as they
shit,
work
yeah.
through that egress.
Shit.
And like we were saying,
Well,
the crew is safe. The vehicle is safe.
That's
it was
it.
a groundside issue.
That's the end of
that
it.
they've been working, that the teams have been
That's
working.
up.
And so what we'll see
Astronauts have
coming
to
up
stay
is
in quarantine too?
The seats will rotate. We did have
Yeah,
the
true.
closeout team already leave the pad. They're going to
Get them
come
out before the
back
timer.
and help
Yeah,
the crew
if they don't get them out before the
progress
timer
the
hits
Dragon
0, the
vehicle.
rocket just goes up anyway. So they got
And
to
there on your
really get
screen,
this
you
done.
can see a live look at the crew.
You know, the
and
astronauts have to be
Dragon
pissed.
Endurance,
Yeah, maybe.
Working through those steps. Leading up to the scrub today, they did go through lots of activities, obviously
Yeah.
making it all the way through crew ingress, which
They
happened
canceled the
around
flight?
4:58
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern.
Probably
earlier
because of
today.
DEI.
They then completed all of the suit leak checks.
Yeah, it's
Closed
probably,
off
yeah. Or Biden. I don't know which one. It's hard to say.
Dragon copy.
Could be both. Yeah, exactly. Air traffic controller who got confused. Yeah, it never would have happened if I was president. Yeah, I mean, this has been, I mean, to be fair, it's been 3 L's
Continuing
in a
to hear
row.
that comm between the
But,
crew
you know.
operations research engineer and
Maybe next time. So they're just going to do it tomorrow, though, right? I mean, like, so.
Go ahead and turn it back over to Daryl.
Yeah, they're going to do shit tomorrow. Non-L yet? Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
thank you
mistakes
very much,
happen.
Jessica and Anna.
I mean, shit happens, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I mean, shit just happens. That's life. And, you know, I don't know what else really there is to say about it besides that. So, yeah. And what's this here? The issue is the launch pad, not the rocket. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but he's Palestinian. He says he's a Palestinian. What the fuck? And yeah, Trump has the ability to revoke somebody's Jew card. I feel like Biden said you ain't black, right? So, like, I mean, Trump has to be able to do something this close to that. Yeah, I feel like that's fair, right? Trump doing Trump things, yeah. Wow, games now? Yeah. Let's play a bit of game. Let's get into it. I actually didn't think I was gonna play any games at all today. I thought I was like, cause I was actually, I'm gonna be real. I was looking forward to playing this. I was looking forward to playing this a lot. And I was like, oh, the rocket launches today. Okay, I guess I'm either gonna have to stream late or I'm gonna do this. But no, I'll play a little bit of this. I had fun playing this yesterday, so I'm gonna play a little bit more of it today. And not a whole lot, but we're gonna get into it for a while at least, right? And yeah, let's see here. And easy channel points. Yeah, didn't they have that thing where it said like I have to play a game within 6 hours? and everything was planned for me to lose, and then the 6 hours hit. Man, that is crazy. That is, dude, the people, yeah. What a bet. What a gamble. Do you miss playing Monster Hunter Wilds? Absolutely I do. I'm so mad that I'm out of monsters to kill. I've killed all of them like 20, 30 times. And I'm waiting. I'm like, what else am I gonna do, man? Yeah, what is this? Yeah, early April, new monster. I want early now. How about that? There went all my points. Elon canceled the flight. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why exactly. They're gonna just do it tomorrow, so it's not like it isn't gonna happen. Play with a different weapon? No, I am gonna play with the greatsword and do that, but like I feel like in a way, all right, let's get this started, okay? Yeah, let's go ahead and get this done. Wow. All right, great. Fatalis run win. Yeah. I saw Max was playing, what's it called? The Generations game. I watched him yesterday, Maximilian, dude. I watched him play that for a while, and it was cool to see some of the old monsters and everything. Like, I wouldn't really play it myself, but it was definitely cool to see it happen. It was. This guy looks like you're 36 years young, Asmongold. Wow. Yeah, I mean, hopefully not. And let's see, thoughts on Race World first? The race feels super dead. Yeah. There's something wrong with my frame rate. Okay, give me a minute. Game settings. Fuck. Where is it? I mean, I don't even know. Like, where do I change this? Controls, camera, maybe? Like, it's not camera, is it? Visuals? Oh, of course. Yeah. 30? 30 frames? This game originally came out on console. That's what it was. Yeah, okay, alright, now we're playing a real video game. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that was. Yeah, we were playing console for a minute there. Poverty frames? I know. That was awful. Alright, let's talk. Hey! This is my boy. I'm looking for someone. I wish my hair was like that. Not this. Not mine like that. Yeah. Why is your character so realistic? Stop.
Fixed firmly on the future. He sees what we could be a century from now.
That's anime, by the way.
How to achieve it.
Yeah.
The truth is, we studied under the same. And now he has
okay. I'll go meet this guy. Oh. my god. What a game.
You're supposed to be getting rid of the foreigners.
I'm not gonna fuck around with that. Like, I'm low level. I don't know what level these other guys are.
Things are getting pretty tense around here.
So this is how Japan was in the 1700s? Is this true? Wait, what? Wait, why? Damn, I just got that bitch up. Fuck. Oh, this guy got, dude. He done. He done, bro. We ruined that guy's whole career.
There is power in this object. I can feel it.
Damn. That guy got dicked. Let me get this real quick. A red flower. What the fuck is that? Alright, where the hose... Oh, shit. This is where the hose are at.
Sam, thank you.
Oh, they got him on the window? Damn. Wow. Wait, oh. Window shopping? Yeah.
The samurai Taka spoke about. We've been expecting you.
How could you tell?
She said you were very handsome and that you looked good in leather footwear. I knew it straight away.
Wow.
You're clearly very discerning. You'll make a fine geisha.
My name is Kitty.
There's no way hooking up with prostitutes is part of the main story quest, is it?
Oh, before I forget, while you are here, it is strictly forbidden to be uncouth or to unsheathe.
Okay. Yeah, what does that mean?
I'll break you.
Okay. And unsheathed, do they mean the sword or something else?
I simply mean that you mustn't throw the sword behind at your hip. I'm sure you can guess what might ensue if the usage of weapons was permitted.
Oh shit. They fighting over the hose.
Victory is mine.
The character's cook? No.
Here at last, my friend.
I never thought this game was gonna be like this.
Definitely a tale or two to be had here, I reckon.
I really didn't expect this at all.
The district
Yeah. Wait, are they saying that we imported, like...
Think of this as a place where foreigners and samurai can...
So...
By the way, did you know that Taka is our most accomplished geisha? It is very rare for her to grant anyone an audience so quickly.
Damn.
You two are very lucky indeed.
So do we have to take turns, or...?
Please wait in here. Taka will join you in due course.
Speak.
Yeah, what happens now? Oh, there's two of them. Okay.
Won't you have some more?
Oh, thank you, my dear.
Time is of the essence.
This is quite the place. Aren't you glad we came?
Don't tell me.
Pardon the intrusion.
Uh-oh.
Sorry to have kept you waiting. Please, allow me to attend to you.
What is this game, bro? So, there's two guys and one girl. I don't know what's about to happen. Is it a trap?
Now, I have a feeling that this may well be your first time in the Miyazaki district.
Bro, he's simping out.
Yes, that's right.
This is a place of many pleasures. Enjoy, and leave the real world behind.
Only a few more years till this is real, guys.
So it turns out I saw a familiar face on the way in. I'd better go and say hello.
Oh, this is me like.
He is a most delightful gentleman. Did you come to Yokohama together?
Kinda, yeah.
What was I doing?
Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, I thought we did. I thought we just showed up.
Is that so? You
Yeah, I thought I
seemed
was gonna meet up with him.
thieves, so I just assumed. May I ask, what brought you to the city?
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot what I came. Dude, you can say I came to see you.
What was I gonna
Goodness, that's rather forward. But I must confess, I'm rather flattered by your attention.
All right. Simp?
Well, I can't be certain, but I have heard rumors of a certain
Wait.
samurai who came aboard
Wait,
the
that's
black
it?
ship.
Wait.
Working here.
Wait.
I hear
Guys.
all sorts of things, you know. But before I say more, I have a little favor to ask.
What is it?
I want you to take photographs of the pleasure district with one of those fancy new cameras.
No way she's gonna try and do some
They say a
OnlyFans shit.
photograph shows things precisely as they are.
Oh my god.
I want this place to be captured for posterity.
Oh my god. She's trying
Do
to.
that for me, and I will tell you about the samurai who came aboard the black ship. Oh, I forgot to mention. To get a camera, you'll need to go to the photographic studio. I know you won't let me down.
A geisha? Wait, what? Whoa, wait, what is this? A geisha isn't a hoe. She provides companionship, nothing sexual. Nuh-uh. No. That's probably not true. There's a sleeping cat. You can get too close to catch it. Okay. Where's the cat?
What's this raw power?
Where's the cat? It said I can capture the cat. Where is the fucking cat?
600.
I don't know where he is.
Shit! It's downstairs? Okay.
How do you increase the quality of an ambulance?
I don't see the cat. It's gotta be in here. It's gotta be in here. Where's the cat? Dude. Shit! Where the hell is this cat, man? Maybe he's up at the top. Is he at the rafters? Maybe he's at the rafters. But I can't even get up there. The compass? Oh my god, I just see it. Where is Cat? Oh. Oh, we're gonna get him. We're about to get him, boys. Okay, I got red nuts. Okay. Let me go down here too. I want to check here before I get the cat. Okay, this probably isn't it. Okay, let's turn around. All right. So it should be here, right? Why? Why? Punch attack? No, it doesn't work. Jump? Dude. Where the hell is he? This is so annoying. Oops. Oops. Below, dude, I can't find the cat, man. I think he's behind this wall. But I think if I pull the sword out, it's below me. No, there's no way. There's no way, dude. Shit. This might be the worst day of my life. Shit! Haha, bitch! That's right! That's it? I did all that for nothing. What the hell is going on?
Ah, it's you.
Okay, I was gonna get the thing.
So you're done for the night, are you?
Yeah. You speak to your friend? Who bid?
I did. Unfortunately, he has no clue where Master Shoin might be either.
Yep.
This is a place where people know things, but tonight I got nothing. How about you? Have fun?
Bro. Taka and I got friendly. Do I say it? I'm gonna do it.
Are you serious? I wasn't even gone that long. You're joking, right? Oh, by the way, my night wasn't a total loss. Turns out I know the person who owns the loghouse nearby.
Damn.
Even Ronin like you need a place to sleep, right? I'll head over and procure a room. Come check it out later, won't you?
Okay. Now I have to go to the longhouse? He hates you now? No, that's my boy. What do you mean? I can't believe they just got him out on the windows like this. Can I buy them? I can't buy them, can I? That's too bad. I'm cosplaying Yasuke. There it is. Nice.
Alright, I gotta get out of here.
Alright. Let me go get this. I think the more of these I get, the more of these I have.
It's a little pretty spacious inside. You can keep a change of clothes or anything you'd like here. I hope you'll find it useful.